All right, welcome, ladies and gents. So it's me and Luke Seven welcoming you to the Oz the Wiz show. The name will change. The name will change. So Luke, I think I spoke to you about this last week. Getting a name that's more appropriate to the continent, something that's got like Africa in the name, so that people sort of know we're representing type of thing.
That we're woke,
Anyways, I'm with
we're
Luke.
diverse. We want people to know that we're diverse.
We want people to know where we're from, dude, so that we don't get lost in the ocean of entertainment out there. We want people to know that this is a perspective from a bunch of Africans that are either living in Africa or elsewhere in the world, or yeah, or people from African descent, basically. But I think that's the general idea. What do you think? Do you think I'm onto something there, or should I just keep my name? But and again, like even if I do keep my name, I still want the show to have a name.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of
You know,
bringing the gaming, right? I'm not a fan of bringing gaming and boiling it down to essentially where you were born on planet Earth. Like I did, like you said, right? I did help with names and whatever, right? Because that was just me being efficient. But in general, that's why even like the name of my channel is not American focused, it's not European focused, not African focused, even though we do have
Rich.
people from several continents, right? That watch our show, that are guests on our show, on our channel. I
Yeah.
still, when I came up with that name, I wasn't like, yeah, let's go with an American stance or leaning. Let's go with an African leaning. It was just like, no, let's find something to literally bring everyone in. It's video games. I don't like the idea of creating barriers. But hey, that was my vision. You can
Yeah.
have yours for your channel.
So again, it's not about like I'm not a big like me, like I mean we've had these conversations back and forth a lot of times. I'm not a big sort of like people need to identify like me to sort of like relate to me, but the whole point is it's sort of to just highlight the fact that we are African streamers. I feel that like if you just have a generic name, people just think you're just another American streamer, which there's a Dime or Dimazon or like anyone from that continent, even Europe or European streamer. I just feel that like it's important to highlight the fact that there are streamers that are from the continent, and maybe someone would want to see that viewpoint. But I get where you're coming from in terms of you don't want to be associated or identified based on your origins. But for me, I think it's very important because of the fact that like there's such a lack of currently there's not a lot of like gaming channels based out of anywhere else but Nigeria. Nigeria has got quite a few. South Africa has quite a few, but again, they're very different in terms of like what they focus on to our content. But I have been thinking, I even asked Ty as well. So Rachel says, yes, white Caucasian male PlayStation fanboy. Nice stuff. That is supposed to be, I tried to get, so Rachel, the story behind that is I tried to get a picture that would represent Jeff Keighley. and I kept putting in Jeff Keighley into the title, and it just kept giving me that like generic sort of like white dude. I suppose, I suppose a lot of that sort of like speaks to what people perceive Jeff Keighley as. So yeah, so the thumbnail I think speaks a lot of truth, Richie. It speaks to the fact that we're going to be talking about the what they call the Keeleys. The Keeleys are coming up, so I wanted to talk to my two cohorts, Tai and Loke. So Tai, I don't know when are you joining us? What the hell is this guy talking about?
It's just shitting on you in the comment section. I love it. I love it. Keep going in, Ty. Get his ass.
Tai, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. But it just shows, like, we're all about that life. But anyways, before we get into this, Loke,
He says he's already
glad to have you here.
For some reason, you haven't let him in. He says he's
Really?
already.
Oh, there he is. Yo, Tai. I didn't know you were in. Like, why do you say you just telling this guy?
I didn't want to interrupt you.
So I don't know what's wrong with my camera.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Cool. My bad.
Loud and clear. But go ahead, please. So
no, I didn't want to
put on
interrupt
my camera.
like speech, so I was thinking, okay, let him. Maybe he's doing a speech right now, so he doesn't want to let me in. He doesn't want me to interrupt, cut him off, expose him.
You're being such a fraud. Okay, let me just put my camera on. But so guys, while I just sort out my technical issues here with my camera, you go ahead. Like, Loke, we'll start with you. Loke, what have you been playing, brother? And what have you been up to gaming wise?
Like I told you in the back room, I've been frauding a lot this past week. Recently got a very time-consuming new job, and yeah, I haven't been playing video games that much. From being honest, I did sample and finish the first section of Wheel World. It's a cozy bike racing game, essentially. Yeah, it's an interesting little thing. I thought I was gonna get on and leave after like 30 minutes, but I ended up doing like a 3-hour stream, and I can see myself playing the game again. Yeah. What?
All right. No, I said you got hooked.
I wouldn't say hooked. It's not Deep Rock Galactic Survivors, all right? But you know,
what's the game about?
What's it about? It's about a this is crazy when I say it out loud. It's about a bicycle spirit. It's about a bicycle spirit that wants to go back.
About this. Yes.
Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, you told me about this game, about like the bicycle, and I was like, bike.
Yeah, it's about a bicycle spirit that wants to return to the spirit world, and essentially, I had to beat a couple of bosses in this first area by racing them, obviously leveling up the bike and understanding parts and how boosts work and turns and blah blah blah. And I beat all the bosses, and we're going back to the spirit world. I'm thinking, okay, this is a nice little short 3-hour game. That's nice, not bad. Game Pass coming in clutch, not bad. No credits rolling. Turns out we're in another area, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff to be done, and I'm like, oh, okay, so there's more to it. Point is, it's a decent little game. So far, I would give it a solid 5 out of 10. Very average game. After I'm done with it, will probably never play it, might even forget it. But I would not tell anyone, hey, do not, like, categorically, I would not tell anyone, hey, do not play that game. I would not do that. Solid 5 out of 10 game.
I know. I feel you on that. Okay. But like, I mean, that's what Game Pass is for, right? Hey, that's a great transition to you. What have you been playing and what are you up to?
Transition. Well,
I've been playing nothing at all, as usual. I just talk about
Right, because of such.
games. That's my life. I don't. My fun comes from
So you're
talking
like,
about video games, not playing it, not playing them.
yeah.
But
Okay,
but
cool.
but
So
but
like
Keeper came
Taya
out
told me
today,
something.
and Keeper has good reviews, which I kind of expected because it's Double Fine. So
mm,
it might be the
Yeah,
time to
yeah, I
subscribe
saw
to Game
that.
Pass, and then tick off the boxes one by one, aka Clear Obscure,
Mhm.
South of Midnight, maybe even Avowed, and Keeper. This is what Game Pass is great for, right? You subscribe and you play these games,
Absolutely.
and if you're like me and you subscribe, every now and then, you get the most bang for your buck. So yeah.
So funny enough, you mentioned that, Taya, because I was checking my subscription information, and it turns out that like our price has not gone up. Like my debit order went off, or like my debit for like this month went off, guys. And Microsoft on their website, they list for you what your next debit is going to be, or what's the next deduction is going to be, and it's going to be later on in November, and it's still the same price. So maybe I'm one of those areas, or we are part of those regions that are from that increase. So yeah, so I'll
It
stay
could
on
be.
as
I,
long as
I
that
think
continues.
there might be some legal laws that says you will get a change, but it might be like in a month or two. So maybe December might be might
Mm,
be different. But listen, take advantage of it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I want to finish Veilguard. That's the one game I want to finish first on
but
Game
then here's
Pass.
another question for you then,
Um,
because we talked
uh,
about Veilguard before, and one of the things you said is about Game Pass is like, I want to own my games and etc. etc. Whereas, and I speak to
yeah,
everybody about this. I've spoken to guys on Discord and Reddit. I'm trying to get a feel for what people are saying, and everyone has this obsession with like, I want to own something. I want to own something. Oh, my library of games is huge. But then when you ask them, like, do you really go back to these games? Like, do you really want to own Veilguard? Do you really
yeah.
want to own Battlefield 2? Do you like, there's so many games out there that like you don't really care about. I want to own Mass Effect, right? But if I look at the last time I played Mass Effect, such a long time ago,
yeah,
and if you were to play a game like Veilguard on Game Pass or Mass Effect, for example, the next time you're gonna play it,
hmm
the question you gotta ask yourself is that gonna be in 4 years' time? And in 4 years' time, can you get it on a sale for $5 or $10? Because right now, Mass Effect is like $10, $7, $4, right? So I just don't. It's just not efficient. And I did have this discussion with one of my friends. He has a wife, and we went through like the games that he purchases. You know, and there was always his wife was encouraging him to use Game Pass, and he was always like, no, 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 no. And it's so funny because every single one of those games he purchases, he doesn't play them. He plays it for like an hour or two, and then he vanishes. And then it's like, okay, now you want to play these games again, but it's literally like 1 year later. Now, how much would these games be on Steam or CD Keys if you just sign up to one Game Pass, got your 1 hour feel of the game, which everyone likes, and then you just left? Like you would have saved a shitload of money. But anyways, I'm kind of ranting there. I guess my question to you then was,
yeah.
do you want to own a game like Veilguard, or is Game Pass good for games like Veilguard?
Yes, and I'll explain why. And it might sound like a weird answer because Mus, I was very much anti. I was part of like what you would call the right wingers that were anti Velgat when it came out. My reasoning for that is that like I told you I played the game and I'm pretty happy. Like overall, it's a good game. Like it's not even a decent game; it's a good game. Like the way it's like from the gameplay mechanics to the graphics are very well done. It's just the art style that to me is offensive in the story, which I suppose for a Dragon Age game are very important. I would want to own it because at the end of the day I'm a Bioware stan. I stand almost everything that Bioware does. I've played more hours than I ever should have in Anthem, and the only reason I actually ever ended up investing that much time is because of the fact of how much I love Bioware and I appreciate like the sort of stuff that they create. So yeah, like I would buy it on deep discount, which it's currently on, which is quite cheap. It's like $29, I suppose, in terms of currency. It should cost around that. I think it's worth it at that price point. I would want to own that, and I'm probably going to buy it down the line in one of the Game Pass sales. But there's games that I like. The games that I like, Ty, that you talk about that I don't care about, that I would just want to sample a game like what Luke is talking about. When it's a random indie game that you not really have an attachment to, those games are the games that I don't want to own. But you might discover it. I'm surprised
No,
I haven't
I
seen
get
any
that,
other
but
Puna
I
games.
guess my pushback there would be there's a lot of games that you own in your library that you're not attached to.
Mhm.
Like Vilgard, you might say
Well,
it's a Bioware game, but like if you got like over 50 games in your library on Steam, like you're not attached to these
yeah.
games. Like how many? Because as soon as you say like, well, I'm attached to them, because if your default is attachment, well then like what are you, like a
Yeah.
whore? Like how many games are you attached to? You're like one of those dudes who's like, I love everybody. I
No,
love
like
25 different girls. Like you can't love 25 different girls because it means nothing.
what, like that. I think that example went like way
The
out of
example is
left field.
completely accurate. The example is accurate because you're telling me, well, I want these games because I'm attached to them. It's like, well,
With
how many games you got on Steam right now? How many games you got on your Xbox? You attached to all these games?
138 games.
You
I've got
attached to
138
103
games.
games. 103 games touched your soul.
138.
138 games touched your soul. Are you that fickle? Are you that emotionally emotional? You just play nice music in the background and then boom, Ushers is in love. Oh, I gotta buy this game now. Nah,
Oh my
it ain't
god.
about that.
Oh my god. Look, look. What? Like, can I get your take on this? This man is being like, he's been really blasphemous. I don't know how to respond to this.
No, it's
Is local
true. It's true though.
It's true, you're a whore.
Like I'm opening my Steam right now. Right, I'm opening my
guys
Steam because
like
I want to do a live test as we are speaking about this, right? And just be honest. I just want to be honest with you guys and with myself. I'm looking at the games library, right? That I haven't played, that I have installed.
Yeah.
So it's Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, Steel Rising, Batman Arkham Knight is definitely going to stick with me. The Surge 2, The Ascent, Doom, Fort Solis, Solstice, Manhunt, Valkyria Chronicles, Way of the Samurai 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, the whole Metro series, Phoenix Point. He's right, Oshers. If we're honest with ourselves and we look at everything we've already, I'm talking about just games that I've already bought that are sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play and finish this. If we're being honest, odds are like 10%, and I'm being generous when I say 10%. 10% of what we have played is something that we're going to revisit ever again. Forget 4 years, Ty. Forget 4 years, because don't forget, games are coming out every single day, and the Epic Game Store keeps bringing out decent-ish games on every Friday, and Game Pass is still banger. So there's a very solid chance that, like, even Space Marine 2, I'll probably never play that again. And that was one of the best games when it came out that I enjoyed, you know? So, yeah, Oshas, I'm sorry, man. I'm with Ty on this one. I'm with Ty. There's no way more than 10% of the games that you have are super impactful on you. No way.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. So you, but like, let's look at the library of games that you care about. Are you ever gonna go back and like, even if you don't, those games still mean something to you? Like, let's take, like, for instance, let's take somebody that like, whatchamacallit, that's your guy. Like all the Kojima games that he's put out,
Yes.
right? Would you ever go back and revisit?
Yes. The only one I haven't replayed. The only one I haven't replayed is MGS4. That's the only one, because I don't have a PS3, and I haven't gotten a hang of like emulation and all that stuff. But that's the only one. All of the other ones I have replayed.
download, I don't know, like that's very easy. Download something called EmuDeck. I told you most about EmuDeck, and I said install
You
it onto
told
your
me.
Steam, and then you can get all those games.
You told me. You told me.
And then
Well,
you
one of these days,
go do it. Go just look up.
we're gonna have to screen share on Discord, and you're gonna have to like hold my hand and show me. Okay, click here now, click there now, click there. That's how I learn.
I don't know why this video is like got all the audio on, and I've like put the audio completely off. Try. How do I switch when I load videos? How do I switch the volume off completely? Okay, it seems to have worked now, but I know I can still hear the volume. But anyways, yeah. Go ahead. Luke, you were saying?
No, I was done. I was done. I was saying, yeah, I do go back to the Kojima games. I've made a mental note to play all three of them, the ones that are still available, right? I've made a mental note to play all of
Yeah.
them at least once every decade. I've played them in the 2010s. I've finished
Mhm.
the third one in the 2020s. I'm still gonna go back to play MGS 1 and 2. And then in the 2030s, I'll do the same thing. So yeah, Metal Gear
So,
definitely I will
um,
be revisiting.
mhm. So I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 4 currently. I've stopped for a while because I'm kind of stuck in an area. But however, like to answer Ty's question, yes, like when it comes to gaming, Ty, then yes, you could call me a public servant for the indecent kind. Like I will buy games simply because of the fact that like even if it gave me 15 minutes of joy when I played it, that much it means something to me. But then there's games like for instance Mass Effect that I will always replay over and over and over again simply because of the fact that like the sort of value they have to me and the sort of like they literally sort of transport you into a different world. So yeah, like all those games to a degree mean something to me, and I want them to be part of my library. It's like movies, Ty. Like you might watch a movie once, and you might not want to rewatch it again, but you still want it to be part of your collection, simply because of the experience that you had with that. Maybe, and like I always say this, that like maybe you're keeping all these games in your library not just for you, look, someone that's a parent for your kids can sort of hand it down one day and say, you know what, this is the sort of games we grew up on. So they don't just grow up on, Fortnite and Roblox, and they understand like sort of like why we got into
I've
gaming and
no,
everything. So
no,
they're sentimental.
I don't do it for them. No, sorry, I don't do it for them. You know what? I'm
You don't share,
completely
you don't
disillusioned.
share your hobby with kids.
I do share my hobby with my kids, the ones that want it, but I don't sit there. I don't sit there and try and like pass it on to them. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like I'm doing this for me because I enjoy this hobby, but I'm not
Yeah.
sitting there and making my kids play the game. Come here, let me explain it to you or whatever. Nah, I play the game. If the kid walks in, is curious, wants to grab a controller, wants to give it a go, I will 1,000,000% obviously
Yeah.
incentivize the fuck out of that. But I've
Mhm.
yeah, I've put it in my mind that I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna do that to my kids. If they don't want to do it,
Okay, that's
if they're not super into it, that's
mhm.
that's for them to decide. It's cool.
Okay. That's a very interesting take because like if I
Can I
just look
just
at like for instance Nintendo. Yeah, go ahead.
like there's a term in psychology called like rationalization, right? It's like when people use they become defensive and they use reasons to justify something that isn't really justifiable, not based on logic. I no one is. It's like like one of my guys wanted to get a PC for gaming, and he made all these reasons to justify the expense. Like I can code, I can do this, I can edit, I can. No, I'm like, you ain't gonna do none of that. Like let's just stop lying and just stop capping here. Just what the facts are. Hmm?
No,
Hello?
he's laughing. Go ahead.
Oh, you're laughing.
I was just
Continue.
Okay,
laughing. I was just laughing.
listen, some people
Sorry.
want to justify these things, and the truth is, like, it's just be honest, right? Because even the reasons you're
What
saying,
what
it's
is being
easily
honest?
dismissed.
What
For
is being
example,
honest?
yeah, I would say this: you said, "Well, I want my kids to know the games or whatever it is." Yeah, okay, go buy them on Steam.
Mhm.
In 25 years time or whenever it is available, or better yet, like
No, but the thing is, like,
PC go emulate. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, listen, you could still buy Mass Effect, the old games, to this day. Mass Effect came out 10 years plus ago. So your kid could have been born when Mass Effect 1 came out, and you can buy Mass Effect now for your kid to play. So this idea of like, when I bought it, so in 20 years time, Junior, like, the argument can make sense if we're talking about the Sega Mega Drive, the NES days. We're in a digital store. We're in a digital
yes.
world. The argument falls apart.
So, like, how do I know that it's gonna cost the same price in 20 years' time? Maybe it's a vintage game, and vintage games, like, go try and
No,
buy NES
no.
games now.
Because it's a digital game. So like
No,
why would it go up?
even digital games. Once, like, for instance, because what happens is that digital games are also not like they're not free of the ecosystem of attrition, in the sense that, like, you still have to maintain them on a server. So meaning that, like, the less the game gets played, if it needs to stay on that, like, say, server or whatever, for you maybe to get access to that game, now the price of entry becomes higher. So there's a lot of
Or it
things
can
like
get,
that you also
or
have
it
to
can get
consider.
delisted.
But
That's
again,
why
like,
you can digital games. It can get delisted, so you can't
or it
buy
can
it.
get delisted, and then, like, for instance, all the Forza
Like
games, like the first Forza
no,
game,
I
I
could
think.
I can even like I feel like some of
Actually,
these
all of them.
examples are like true. Like, I'm not designing these are true examples, but these examples don't explain
Mhm.
the reason why somebody would have 1,000+ games. Oh, I'm afraid it might get delisted. Like, really? That's not the
Because
reason
we
why.
love games. Like, why does somebody have 100 Ferraris, for instance? Why does somebody have, like,
Because they can afford
there's
that
so many
shit.
hoarders. Exactly, like, we can afford the games, and these are things that remind us you're not gonna play all those games. We know rationally. Like, don't try and rationalize a hobby that's based on passion. Like, a lot of it is
No.
based
I
on
guess
passion.
my,
And the
my
fact
point
that,
is more focusing on the fact that, like, if someone wants to, like, make an argument for getting all these games, as long as they understand that, like, they are in a, like, their hobby or what they're doing
yeah,
isn't really a rational thing. It's more of an emotional thing. Like, okay, well, I just want to own 1,000 games. Okay, that's fine. Own 1,000 games. But when you try to rationalize it, it's like, nah, just stop. Just say the
so
truth. I'm a hoarder.
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I
What's
ask
up?
you a question, since you're the business guy?
Hmm.
So, how do you rationalize somebody being a billionaire?
Yeah, I can rationalize
How
that.
do you rationalize Elon Musk? How do you rationalize Elon Musk's
They,
wealth?
I would say Elon Musk started a business, and within that business,
But
it
no,
grew and
rationalize
grew.
why he needs that much wealth.
No, he doesn't need that much wealth. No way. Hello?
But yet he still wants to grow that wealth. Like, billionaires don't just want to stop. Like, when he was worth 100 billion, do you think Elon Musk said, "You know what? I have enough now. I can call it a day and go home"?
I honestly don't know
What about Bezos?
but see, I don't know if Elon or Bezos' necessarily goal is to keep making more and more billions. It could be, but I think what probably really drives them is the business side of things. They want to be successful, and they want to be more and more successful. So yeah, you can start up Audible, and then you can start up Amazon, and then you start up Facebook. Like, you want to be a creator, and I think these people are very, very specific, right? I think there's a specific mindset
So
that these kind of men have, or women.
okay, but, like, why is that justified? Why is that okay for them to want something that is irrational? Nobody needs to have that much. Nobody needs to own that much. You can still have all those businesses, but you don't need to own 400 billion
No. Well,
worth of
here's
those.
the thing.
You
Yeah,
don't need
if you ask Elon why he's doing this, he would say, well, I like business. I like, creating things. I did Tesla. I did SpaceX.
Okay,
I did I want to create neuroscience. If you ask Jeff Bezos, he would say, well, I did Audible. I did Amazon, and then I want to do AWS. They like doing things, right? And they'll probably tell you straight up, they're like, yeah, I want to create more businesses. I'm saying that reason is a more justifiable, logical reason
How?
than, well, I want my kids to be able to play my 1,000 games of like
No,
my
I'm
catalog.
saying I enjoy these games. I want to share that with them. Like, how is that less reasonable than a guy wanting to own more just for the sake of owning more businesses?
No, because the truth is nobody really wants to buy these games to share with their kids. That's a lie. It's rationalization.
Okay, okay. So why do so
there
like
is
my whole point is
nobody's buying Clear Obscure, so in 25 years time their son can play the game.
Well, I mean, like, you have kids coming up now. Like, I'm not talking about 25 years. Like I should have kids that are almost like, if I had kids like when I was in my 20s, I should have kids that are almost my age. Sorry, not my age, but like that are almost like the right age to be able to play games with me right now. And I want to share those experiences with them, take them through the different genres. How is that irrational? How is that more irrational than being a billionaire that owns
because the game, like, because you could do that for Metal Gear Solid, you could do that for Xenoblade, you could do that for all these games. But when you tell me, oh well, I got 1,005 games, you gonna play 1,005 games with your kid?
No, but like I've got in that list, I want to be able to select. Like, I mean, Elon Musk doesn't need 400 billion from for companies like from from government contracts, but he still has that, and he still wants more stuff. How is that different from me as a normal person just wanting?
No, there isn't. But I'm saying that the justification on their side is actually more valid. I'm not saying it's great, but it's more valid because, for example, here's an example. Elon Musk could say, "I want to make more billions because I want to create generational wealth that it gets to the point where 20 generations from now, my kids are still millionaires or billionaires, right?" I don't know what the other argument is from a gaming perspective.
I want my kids to play the games
so my kids can own this game, because that's the thing. Your kids, like Steam even said it themselves. You can't even pass your library on to your kids. Your kids can't inherit your game.
Yes, they can. They just need my passwords.
So there's no actual passing of transition to it. It's like they have to like basically hack into your account.
It's not hacking if you're giving the details.
I've given my like you're trying very hard here.
I mean, like you can't pass it down to them because okay. Do you know what I'll say? Yeah,
I just give my password.
If you even had a physical version and you had a console and the actual CD of the game, like back in the days, that's a good argument. I'm giving you my console, and here's the disc, but that's not what's happening now, though. Now it's
but this is like
it's not scarce.
But that's the problem. But like if I have a digital library, I have to give it to someone when I die.
I mean, yeah, you mean
someone is gonna
email account.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Look, does that not make sense?
No, it makes sense. I'm just saying I think it's wrong to sit there and think, oh, I'm doing it for my kids. That's all I was saying.
No, I'm not saying I agree with you, but I'm not saying that's just the only motivation. But like, if I do have kids, I would like to share those games with my kids and leave them to someone. Like, it doesn't even have to be your kids. It could be your friends. Like, you know what? I'm gonna leave you my library when I die, so that you can, I don't care what you do with it, but like, it's important to me. Those games all meant something to me. Those experiences all meant something to me. So I want to own them. I want to have those games.
Listen, I bought this 4070 PC. So when my auntie's kids come over, they can multitask and do all these crazy things, watch Netflix while also playing video games, while also on Gmail. I bought it specifically for them. No, I did not. It's a nice to have, but they weren't in my mind when I thought about that thing. And when my friend was justifying his supercomputer and all his, vertical screen and his horizontal stuff, and he was like, yeah. I was like, bruh, like, just buy it. Like, stop telling people that the reason why you're doing this because you can do all these other cool things. Like you need to justify these things to
But like,
people.
why
And
can't
it's your money.
why? Like, why can't you say that? Like, I
I
don't
know, but like
understand.
I'm
Like,
not. I'm
why
not
is that?
disagreeing. But my point is, just stop capping. Stop lying. Just say the truth. Just say
Why
it.
you always
Yeah, why are you always
lying?
lying? Like you don't need to lie to people. Like if someone says like, Ushers, why you got 1,000 games? Just say I'm a hoarder. I like to
I
hoard
don't know.
games.
Like, I think that argument is very nuanced, and then you've
Why do you
simplified.
have 1,000? Why do you have 2,000 Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I like the game, and I'm a hoarder. I like to have. I buy decks that I don't even want to use because I'm a hoarder. Oh, is it because you want to give it to your kids? No, that's a lie. You're a hoarder. End of story. You like hoarding. You like hoarding cards. You like hoarding toys. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, all right, okay. Like, so
Embrace
I'll
the
let you
hoarding.
get away with that. I'll let you get away with that one, even though that I think you are out of order. So I actually wanted to ask something, and actually, who do I want to ask? I think
Yo, real quick. Rachie says the kids will sell their accounts for a Roblox skin. Boom.
Yeah.
Because they don't care about these old ass games.
they can't do that. That's what they're inheriting from me. That's what I want to leave. I want to leave my kids. If there's anything I want to leave my kids that's important to me, that means something to me, is my gaming library. They'll learn so much about me by being my library, and that will mean something to them. I don't know if Ty has watched any sentimental movies where someone goes through their father's comic book collection or their father's book or mother's book collection, and then they have this attachment like, oh, this is what my dad was into. Anywho, so let's move this along. So before we get into our today's topic, which is the Keeleys, I want to find out from you guys. Anything that you guys want to reflect on in terms of like some of the things that happened this week, and of course, as usual, Xbox is the one of the key talking points for everyone. But like anything that you guys want to cover or talk about in terms of anything that happened or transpired during this week's news cycle. Loke, I'll go to you first.
There was an idiot. There was an idiot. I don't know his name. There was an idiot who was trending for. He's been trending for about 2 or 3 days now, if I'm not mistaken.
I know what you're talking about. If you can find the story, Loke, let me know, and then just share it on the screen.
Yeah, talking about when you grow up, when you're a real adult. When you're a real adult, you don't play video games. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Anyways, luckily, a lot of people were checking him. A lot of people were checking him. Most refreshingly, women. A lot of women were going for his neck, which was delightful to see. And yeah, for me, that was a big takeaway of the week. Gaming is not, and obviously, right, for the people in the chat and for us here, gaming it's not something that you can sit there and be like, oh, you're a child if you like it or whatever. It is as legit, if not more legit, than every other entertainment in medium. If you want to believe, if feelings don't matter and only facts matter, go and check how much all the other entertainment mediums bring in. Sports, movies, books, comics, manga, you name it. And video games beats it. So yeah, that was, for me, that was the big one. And also, the box says Xbox. It's a fucking Xbox.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I didn't expect that one from you, but okay.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. Cool. Tai.
There's a couple. Battlefield sells 7 million in 3 days,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is really important to note.
That was nuts.
it's I think the best selling Battlefield I think is already eclipsed it or is close to eclipsing it already, and that's lifetime sales. So EA has a huge hit on their hands. And what they did is they brought in, the main guy. I can't remember his name now. Shit.
Vince Zampella.
Vince.
Yella.
They brought him in, and they listened to what the fans were saying, which was, we don't like these superhero stuff that you're doing. Go back to the core. You don't need to chase trends. And sometimes when you chase trends, that trend will die out, and people will want to go back to originality. And Battlefield was well placed to deliver that. And this is probably a clear sign to EA that probably your best ever selling Battlefield game has a single player mode, is player friendly, listen to player feedback of the actual fans, not trying to court these other younger players, or these streamers. Like, you actually focused on the audience, and you allow Call of Duty, the rival, to kind of separate itself from you, which showed that there was a huge difference between both games. And from a quality perspective, you reap what you sow. Now you have 7 million, and you don't even have all these crazy microtransactions, right? So when people say things like, well, are they going to make that much and get that as many players as EA wants, was because I think they trusted in the process. And listen, there's more modes to come, and there's also the Battle Royale mode, and if that hits and that's free to play, that's going to bring more attention onto Battlefield. So well done to EA for that. They get a lot of flack for a lot of shit, but at the same time,
the most hated company in America.
Most hated companies in America, but at the same time, they released Split Fiction. They released Immortals of Avian, which didn't do well. But what they tell the studio, they say, you know what? Every revenue from here on in, you guys keep it. We're washing our hands from this game. Battlefield came out as well. Like EA's and also they also supported our guy with the game from what's the game again? The game that all the anti-war people are trashing.
The anti-war people are trashing. What game is this?
The black guy from Assassin's Creed Origins. Shit, what's his name again?
What?
The guy who the attack for like the game
that we both look like. I think both of us bought that game.
What game is this?
The one like are you talking about the African game?
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Panzera Tales of Zao, some shit like
Tales
that.
of Zao, yeah. I mean, EA, published that as well. So they have like they got some good things going on. But anyway, shout out to them for making Battlefield what the fans, as people have said, it didn't reinvent the wheel, but it just gave people what they wanted, and it was well suited. So yeah, well done.
Okay.
The other pointer would be the leader of Assassin's Creed, Mark Alex Corte. I don't know how to say his name. He confirmed that like it wasn't that like he left of his own accord. It was that Ubisoft told him to step down. Some people are happy about it, some people are not. If you ask Assassin's Creed fans, I think most of them will be okay with this decision, because under his reign, you got the Assassin's Creed games, and some people think that's a step back. So maybe somebody new coming in will kind of freshen things up. And
I hope someone comes in and gives us actual Assassin's Creed, bro. Like I miss Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're gonna listen. He did a good job. He made money, or etc. But obviously, new leadership to some extent. So yeah, I think I personally think it's a good thing. Obviously depending on who takes the reign, but that's another point. And as Luke says, if it says it's an Xbox, it's an Xbox. Xbox Roguelike sales.
You don't think it's an Xbox though, Dai. You think it's a PC handheld.
Yeah,
that's
I actually do.
You know what my logic?
It's a PC.
You know what my logic is for why it's an Xbox. Number one, you should trust the company that's making the product to tell you what the fuck the product is. Excuse my French. That's number one. Number two, Nintendo made playing cards at first. Those playing cards, the box said Nintendo. If you had sat down at that time and said, no, this is not a Nintendo, motherfuckers would be looking at you like you're insane. Nintendo went on to make love hotels. That was their main business, love hotels. Guess what, motherfucker? Those were Nintendo too. Each one of those hotels was a Nintendo. Nintendo went on to make a taxi service. My guy, my gal, I know it breaks your digital pixel hearts. Each one of those motherfucking taxis was a Nintendo. Nintendo went on to make video game consoles and video games. As much as all those taxi lovers, as much as all those love hotel lovers, as much as those playing card lovers would scream and shout and say, this is not a Nintendo. Guess what, you salty ass bitches? The video game consoles were also Nintendo. So, Microsoft has done marketing for the better part of 3 years. All right? They've lubed it up for you. This should not be hurting as much as it is. So take it like a man or a girl. It's fine.
All right, that's a statement. That's a thing. I know. I hear you. Look. So I think let's get to our subject.
If you disagree, tell me why that logic doesn't track. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to disagree with you. I don't want to get into anything to do with Xbox. So let's get into this to today's topic, right? Which is the Game of the Year awards, the Keeleys, which is why I have a generic white dude on the cover of or today's episode, is because I was trying to get an image that fits Jeff Keighley, and the fact that we all know Jeff Keighley's bias that it's going to be a PlayStation game if there's a PlayStation game that he likes that's out that year. So I think if you had to ask me if who's gonna win, and I'm not even gonna make this about the rest of this conversation. This is Ghost of Yote's year, in my opinion.
You know it.
Because it's a PlayStation exclusive and it's the Keeleys. So regardless of how good your game is, we're going to go through each of the games that are on this list, or that are like everyone is talking about as potentials for the throne. But just up front, let's be clear about this. If it's not Ghost of Yote, I'll be very fucking surprised. Do you guys disagree?
Yeah, of course I disagree.
Go ahead. Why do you disagree?
Give me a minute. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, we'll get back. So you don't have to answer now. Answer when we get to Ghost of Yote, because I've got a list here, right? And I'm going to go through each contender's attributes in terms of like, their statistics, like what is it that put them in the game and in the contention, right? So here's the list, and then you guys will tell me your opinion on each one of the contenders. Okay, first on top of the list is Hades 2, right? So this is the sleeper favorite because of the fact that Hades 1 was such a darling, especially for the Steam crowd. It's made by Supergiant Games. It was released on the 25th of September officially. It was on preview for a very long time. 94 Metacritic. It's a roguelike with very deep narrative and replayability. And yeah, it is one of those games where you die a million times and you just have to restart. And then you guys know the whole roguelike spiel. It's polished, but it's a very, very simplistic game in terms of graphics and visuals. It doesn't do anything amazing. It's very cartoony, very simple type of game. So I want each of you to give me your opinion in terms of like what you think of Hades 2 and its contention, and like, do you think it is a contender, and do you think it holds, or what do you think its chances are of winning Game of the Year? We'll start with Luke.
Before you actually get into that, actually no, go ahead.
Luke, do you wanna?
I'll be brief. I don't think Hades 2 deserves to be a Game of the Year contender.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro.
94 mentioned a PC darling. indie darling as well. Is there any reasons why? Do you want to motivate as to why do you think this? Like
Well,
it's
for that I'd have to bring in the context of which other games came out this year, because context matters, guys.
Mhm.
There was a year. I'm sorry to use a football analogy, but I think it's very easy for everyone to understand this. And I give you using a basketball NBA analogy. There were years when other players scored lots of points and had tons of highlights, but Michael Jordan was still the best player in the NBA. Logic dictated and forced us to believe that.
Mhm.
For football, there was years when other players were fucking awesome. They were amazing, but Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi were still playing at the peak of their powers. So it was like, yeah, you were awesome, but we look at who you're going up against. You're not awesome enough, and
Okay,
that's
fair enough.
that's where I would put Hades too. I don't want to get ahead of the conversation and start talking about other games, but I feel like as we continue to discuss the other games, it will become more and more obvious and apparent that, yeah, obviously, right? Obviously, Hades 2 has no real chance to win it.
Okay. Um, in its maiden year, Hades won. Like I don't think it won Game of
This
the
is
Year.
sorry. Hades 2 is not even the best roguelike that came out this year.
Hmm. That's an interesting question.
And this
That's
business about, oh, Metacritic, you can kiss my ass with Metacritic. How many
Mhm.
times have we had discussions about games that had awesome ratings on Metacritic, but everyone shat on? And then games that had nothing good said about them on Metacritic, but they were awesome as far
Mhm.
as the gamers are concerned. No, Metacritic is not the be all end all of this discussion.
Okay, I hear you. Tai, what's your take?
Hades is a great game, dope game, 94 Metacritic, and in most cases that would allow you to win. But even from a Metacritic point of view, I don't think it's the highest
Have
rated
you
game this year, is
um,
it? Um,
have you played? No, no, it's probably not.
no,
Like
I haven't played it, and I think there is a bias towards specific kind of games that are adventure story driven, and he just doesn't tick those boxes, like, and I think there is, I don't want to say there's a bias towards AAA games per se, I don't think there is, but I think games that appeal more to a larger crowd will likely get the notch. Nobody denies that Forza Horizon probably should have won or could have won Game of the Year, but it didn't, right? Because nobody's really
Should
that
have had
into.
a PlayStation logo.
Yeah, well, I disagree with the PlayStation. Okay, I think if it has a PlayStation logo, it could, because it will reach more eyes and attention, right? So I think that does play a role. But overall, I think Hades just doesn't have the story. And when I say story, I mean you.
The story is good. It
No,
has a good
not
story.
not
but
actually
like
in-game story. I mean that around the
uh,
story that surrounds the game.
but the
As you guys
first
have
game.
said,
Oh,
as you guys have said, Clear Obscure is a game that had 30 developers, as you guys have said, and they made a game that went against the AAA industry, a
So
double A
we're
game.
getting pretty obscure. So let's just focus on Hades.
Okay,
We're getting
yeah. So basically, I'm just saying
yeah.
that Hades doesn't have the surrounding
The
story that
narrative.
make
The
the
narrative.
narrative, that makes it an attractive win.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I can
cool.
agree with that.
Also, something else that I think I've noticed as well is that, like, if you're a sequel, you don't really get that win because people have played you
Oh,
before. You're just reinventing the wheel. Sorry, no, you just
Ah,
you do the same thing again. Sequels are not really likely to win.
unless you're Ghost of Yote.
Nah, Ghost of Tsushima is not winning. It's just not winning. No way.
Oh
These are
man.
facts.
I'm willing to put money on this one.
I'm willing to put $1,000. Ghost of Tsushima is not winning.
God damn. Okay, I'm not that confident. I'm not that confident.
It's not. It's not winning. Like, it's just not. Like, it's gonna be good. Like, listen. Like, let's be. The game's at
I'm
80.
surprised
The
you saying
game's
that.
at
Like,
late.
I'm
The game's at
surprised you saying.
86 on Metacritic. It's
So
not
I'm
winning.
surprised you're saying that about sequels, right? And I'll tell you because of the fact that like the next game we're gonna talk about is a sequel, right? And again, it's another darling. It's another indie darling, and I think you guys already have an idea what I'm talking about. That swept like everything, like every. It's the game that everyone was talking about, and it's a 91 Metacritic. And that's Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah.
What's the-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got some exceptions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these games are very similar. These contenders they're gonna literally knock each other off. If this was like a battle royale, these two would go against each other. Hollow Knight versus Hades 2.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one takes the crown? Funny enough, Hades 2, it's so polished. It's a 94 Metacritic. Silksong is a 91 Metacritic. So in terms of player numbers, I've got like some stats here for it peaked at 500,000 K. That's Hollow Knight. I don't have numbers for, unfortunately, for Hades, but it also did easily over 200K players, I believe. I'll just double check. Don't hold me to that. So both of them have huge followings. Both of them did very well. Their previous entries did very well and are very revered by their audiences.
Silksong will have a better chance. Silksong will have a better chance.
You reckon?
They broke
Again,
the
it's the
internet.
narrative.
They broke
Yeah.
the internet.
You have to look at it this way. Like there's always got, like for me, the factors that you look into a game of the year is the narrative that surrounds the game, and you look into the Metacritic as well of the game, and you look into like the general vibe of the game, which is like, do people actually like, are they playing the game like in mass amounts? Call of Duty will always get that from a massive amount of people playing the game, but it will never win because the narrative around Call of Duty just isn't there.
It's always
it's an established game yet. So I think what Hollow Knight Silksong has done with the narrative is we released a top quality game for $20 when we know you would have paid $40 for it or $35 or whatever. So now it has the vibe of the narrative is like, oh, listen, developers are evil, they're selfish. Look at the guys at Hollow Knight. They did this, and the game's also on Game Pass, right? So it wasn't like, oh, we want to just sell stuff. So I was like, no, we're going to put on Game Pass where people can also access it. Also, I think it's Play Anywhere as well, and also I think it's on GOG. So it's like, hey, listen, if you want to pirate the game, go pirate the game. Like when you have pirates come up and like, apparently you have alleged pirates come up and be like, yo, the game's very good. If you can buy it, buy it.
Yeah,
don't pirate it. When you have that narrative, that's going to surpass the whole idea of it being a sequel game. So Hades 2 might be better, might have better, it might give you more bang for your buck, but the narrative around Hollow Knight is just too strong for Hades 2 to overcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hollow Knight wins that first round between those two games.
Hell yeah, no doubt.
All right, cool. So let's move on to the next contender, Kojima-san.
Death Stranding.
No way. No chance.
Man.
It's a Sony exclusive, so it has all the hallmarks of a game that can win the Keeleys.
I'm with Ty.
Best friend. Tell us.
I'm with Ty. I think Jeff Keighley is all too aware of the narrative and the story around him and Kojima, and how much people would meme around Death Stranding winning. It is a reason why even the first one, even though it was also a smash hit, they still didn't give it the award. I think it deserves Game of the Year, in my personal opinion.
I also think it can easily. I think the only reason it won't win Loki is for the same reasons you're listing, and the fact that like he doesn't want to look too obvious. This is the guy that sat there.
This is the guy that sat there, and because he didn't want too much controversy, didn't even give a nomination to Hogwarts Legacy. A nomination, guys. Nah.
Yeah.
Just Danny ain't winning.
Slightly different in my opinion. But I see. I feel where you're coming from. Okay, cool. So you guys
Death
don't think
Stranding, yeah, but like Death Stranding is a 89 on Metacritic, so it's already ticking that box. It's an 8.8 in terms of user score, so it's already ticking that box. It suffers from two things. Number one, it's actually another thing like this Death Stranding has is like it's unique. It's very different. It's a walking simulator game, right? And gamers like different things, as Richie has pointed out as well. As he says, we live in a world where AAA game characters are all alloy boring. So when a game like Hades comes with good characters in it, it deserves Game of the Year. So
Yeah,
Death Stranding
that's fair.
2 has, it has the characters, it has all these things, it has, a bit of it's different, right? The problem with Death Stranding is the first game came out already. That whole vibe or like, oh, this is new, isn't really there. Death Stranding 2, from what I've heard, I haven't played it, it feels like a refined version, a much better version of Death Stranding 1. I think that's going to be a problem. So its story can't, and also like something else, like it's a Kojima game. Like Kojima is famous, you expect good things from him. But when you have developers who are junior developers making a great game like Obscure, or junior developers making a great game like Silksong, the narrative is just too good. Kojima is elite. It's not a sexy narrative to have Kojima win Game of the Year. It just isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, like this is okay. That's a surprising take. I'm a bit surprised.
Agreeing a lot with you, Ty.
Let's put them against somebody. So let's stack Dead Stranding 2 versus Donkey Kong Bonanza with banana physics from Nintendo. No, who wins?
Has a Nintendo game ever won Game of the Year?
A couple years.
When was the last time?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that they have.
It was Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Of course,
Breath of the Wild.
I think
they
it was Breath of
have,
the Wild, yeah.
and Super Mario Galaxy as well. That one or two or both, I don't know. But like Nintendo is always a shoe, and the only people that don't win is Microsoft.
I would say Mario Kart World has a better chance of winning than Donkey Kong Bonanza. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I would say Donkey Kong Bonanza definitely has it. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a really good shout. 91 on Metacritic, sold well, probably seen as the best Donkey Kong game. And I think one thing that separates it from the other games is that everyone's saying the same thing, which is it's one of the best platformers. Remember, these are the guys that made Mario Galaxy 1 or 2, which is highly rated. And what they've done here is they've made nearly everything destructible. And whenever you include new mechanics in a game,
banana
that feels different. Yeah, people are gonna like gravitate towards that. It's the same reason why I know, like, I'm not gonna get into it right now, but the same reason why Obscure was eye catchy, because it was it's turn-based with some action elements. Okay, that's cool. So Donkey Kong Bonanza ticks that box, and my friend played it, he finished it, and he said it's one of the best games he's ever played. Like it was that fun for him. So I think it has a good shout. However, the narrative just isn't there either. That's the problem. The gameplay might be there, but the narrative isn't really there.
Yeah, I've seen no hype around Bonanza. Besides besides like accounts that seem to be dedicated to Nintendo, I've seen no hype around Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Mm-hmm. You could have fun with a game, but it doesn't. And listen, you can have way more fun with a game that wins Game of the Year, but doesn't mean it's going to win Game of the Year. And people don't judge these things based on fun. I am a lot of times it's different factors that plays into the role.
If we're looking at just fun, me personally, my Game of the Year so far for this year would be Deep Rock Galactic Survivors.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even on this.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to reiterate and agree even more with Ty, that it's really not about fun at the Keeleys. It's not about gameplay at the Keeleys. It's about, buzz and marketing and who broke the internet. It's really not about, what's the best game. That's not what it's about. And
to jump onto Luke's point as well, Donkey Kong Bonanza will win something because the other categories for fun games, family games, 2D games, all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, so it's not like it's being like, left out, but Game of the Year can't just encompass platforming or gameplay. It has to encompass a whole.
So what do you think is gonna win, like best platformer?
I need to probably double. I need to think about it a little bit more to see what other platformers, but I think it's a front runner for best platformer. I think you probably deal with Silksong will win something, of course, a lot, and so will Hades will win something else. But in terms
Yeah,
of platforming, Donkey Kong is definitely there.
games are super popular. They're like ridiculously popular.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, and I don't know if you're gonna say this one as well, but are you gonna say Split Fiction?
Yes, is that the controversial dude's game, right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
game
no,
with the game with the two girls.
yeah,
The
it's a
teen game.
controversial guy that always says shit at the awards. Yeah, definitely, he's on this list. Okay, cool. So we've got Death Stranding and Donkey Kong Bonanza out of the way. Oh, look at who's next up. Split Fiction. Genre. I don't know what the freaking hell Jumper is as a genre. So yeah, it's from Hazelight Studios. Do you guys know what the Metacritic for this game is? It's also
Oh,
from.
before we get to Split Fiction, just something Richie is saying. Richie says, how can you nominate a downgrade from Mario Kart 8? And to push on that as well, yeah. I think
Hey,
when it comes
Fuzzy,
to,
welcome.
I think what you might see is that you might see the Sonic racing game beat Mario Kart this year.
Okay. To Richie's point, to answer Richie's question again, like I said previously, the Game Awards, the Keeleys are not about what was the best game. That's not what that show is about, and we have years of proof that that's not the focus. So I take your point, but again, I wasn't picking Mario Kart World because I thought it was the best game. It's
Richie,
Yeah,
because
I can
it
even
fits the
I can give you
criteria.
the reason why Astrobot won. Because Astrobot went up against Balatro, and Balatro's not going to win Game of the Year.
But
He went
that
up
was
against.
better than Astrobot.
I won't push back on that, but like it just wasn't gonna win. Like a card game like that, it's just like it's very rare for that to happen. Final Fantasy Rebirth, typical big RPG bloated, it just wasn't gonna win. There wasn't enough there to separate it from other major RPG games. Metaphor Fantasio had a good shout, but I think
It
where it
should have
fell
won.
short, it should have won for me. Yeah, 100%. I think where it fell short is maybe its mass appeal to a lot of people, and I don't think the story of it was necessarily amazing. It was like, okay, narrative, okay, it's a Atlas game, you know, from like the guys who created Persona, but it's doing nothing really new. It's just another good game that kind of, you know, a new franchise entry, right? Where Astrobot won was probably against Black Myth Wukong, because that's I didn't play Black Myth Wukong, but it's probably just an okay game. Like it's a good enough game. It's not an amazing game, to be honest with you.
I
In
don't
fact,
know.
I wouldn't be
I would
surprised if some people
disagree.
said, I wouldn't be
I would
surprised if some people.
disagree.
Okay, well, hold on. I wouldn't be surprised if some people felt Stellar Blade was a better gameplay game than Black Myth Wukong. Like I
Get the
think,
fuck out of here.
Archers,
Get the
what do you
fuck
say?
out of
Is
here.
Stellar Blade as a gameplay from gameplay
No,
From
perspective
no.
better than Black Myth Wukong?
from what I've gathered, like I'm a huge, I'm a stand for Stellar Blade, so I would pick it any day, and it's playing in the back. I would pick it any day
In the
over that.
back.
Yeah, it's on the video. It's in the background.
Oh, okay. You would
Yeah.
pick what?
I would pick Stellar Blade any day over Wukong.
That's wild. You guys
And
are
my point
crazy.
here is that Astrobot, from a quality perspective, a platforming game that was also not Nintendo, also from Sony Japan Studio, a team that was, you could say, effectively destroyed by Sony because they weren't making money. And then they came together and they made it this smaller game. I mean, the narrative is just there. You know, it's the narrative is better than anything else. So Astrobot winning makes sense, and I do have a pushback a lot on the
Wukong,
PlayStation talking point,
Wukong
but
didn't
maybe we
win.
should get into that
Listen,
yet.
Wukong didn't win because the developers, to your point about narrative, the developers did not give IGN the power that they wanted.
Oh,
The
geez, let's not get
developers,
into the politics
the
of Wukong.
developers told IGN and all the other publications to go fly a kite when they made accusations without evidence, and then tried to tell the Chinese developers, We've now accused you of these heinous things. Now you must now prove that these things didn't happen. What?
Okay,
Oh,
all right. So I think you guys have all both got like very valid points, but I want to get to the next contenders, right? Which is Split Fiction, which is a 91 Metacritic, versus Kingdom Come Deliverance. In my opinion, this game deserves so much more. I've never played this game, but like from what everybody has said, it is awesome. I didn't like the first one at all, but I get why people love this game. So Split Fiction versus Kingdom Come Deliverance. So Split Fiction is 91 Metacritic. Let me see if I can't get the score for Kingdom Come
It's 88
Deliverance.
Metacritic. 88.
Okay, so they're very close together. All right, cool. So guys, go ahead. Tai, since you've already said your piece, do you want to go ahead? Do you want to add?
Split Fiction is a very like it should be nominated 100%. I think it has a very good narrative as well. Co-op game. If you buy this game, you get a free copy for your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Whenever you do things like that, people are gonna appreciate it. It wasn't. I don't believe it was a game that came out that was $70 either. It's an EA game. EA's highest rated game since Mass Effect 2. The narrative around Split Fiction is there.
Wow, you know a lot about this game.
Yeah, like the question is now, is it new enough to because remember we had It Takes Two, and It Takes
Yes,
Two won Game
and
of
we
the
had
Year.
prison game for that.
Exactly, and we're kind of seen these games before,
Yep.
and we already gave this game its props where It Takes Two. So I think the narrative there takes a hit. I also think the other thing that Split Fiction will suffer from, and even to an extent, Kingdom Come Deliverance, is recency bias. When it came out, everyone went crazy for it. The Split Fiction came out in November, maybe a month before the Game of the Year awards, where it's getting dark, and everybody's like, "Okay, it's dark now. I gotta stay home a lot more. It's winter's coming," and then Split Fiction drops, and everyone's playing it together in the house. I think it has a higher chance. Unfortunately, it came out way too early.
Okay.
timing is
I
important.
think that's
Timing is important.
Loke, your take?
Kingdom Come Deliverance for me. Like Tai said, we've already seen this this pony, which it was fun, right? The first time we did it, but now that we already know what it is, essentially, it's just a different story. I'm not saying the guy is overrated, but I think it's just good.
Yeah.
Whereas Kingdom Come Deliverance, you had people crying. It's essentially one of the must plays of this generation in terms of RPGs. Yeah, for me, Kingdom Come Deliverance deserves it way more than Split Fiction, in my opinion.
All right, I agree.
Not just a fun game, not just a fun game to play with your significant other. It is literally something that has the potential to be like transcendent, like Mass Effect 2. Because we thought Mass Effect 2 was great when it came out, but as the years went by and more people played it and we replayed it, the significance and impact of Mass Effect 2 hit us even harder. So yeah, that's why I would say Split Fiction, it's a good game. It in my opinion, it's not Game of the Year.
So speaking of Mass Effect, I actually had created a reel using DaVinci Resolve just with my Mass Effect playthrough, because that's what I've been playing for the last week. In fact, I'm almost done with the first game. For some reason, this platform does not accept movie or QuickTime videos, so I need to convert them into MP4s to upload them. So next week, I'll definitely share that footage with you. I created actually 3 reels for this specific video,
Nice.
and the one was just Mass Effect, and my new shepherd looks like Natalie Portman. So again, just making use of the
Why not
advantage.
Charlize Theron?
They don't have, unfortunately, mods with Charlize, or I even looked for Scarlett Johansson, and there's no good mods. This one, this Natalie Portman one, is like the best. It looks like the actress. It's the best shepherd ever created. inverted commas. But I'll definitely share that next week. That'll be on my highlight reel in the background next week. I'll just convert those back to MP4 because I wasn't aware that this platform can't accept movie because QuickTime is a very specific format. It's called I think it's MOVs. But okay, going back to what you said about like the significance of the game in the long run in terms of like how it's gonna affect people. Do you think the same thing, Ty? You are a big Mass Effect guy, and actually, you know what? Just before we get to that, Loke, do you know that Ty has never played Mass Effect 1, and this guy makes Mass Effect content?
Just
I'm not
the
surprised.
snitch.
I'm not surprised, and I'm not even saying that to be like shady to you, Ty. I'm not surprised because one, Mass Effect 1 is rough, and two, the biggest like the biggest legacy that the Mass Effect franchise has actually isn't even in the gameplay. It's the lore.
The story, like it's the best. To
So,
me, I'm gonna say it's the one of the best sci-fi adventures I've
not
ever
just
been.
the story. No, Oshus, not just the story. Mass Effect is on the same level as World of Warcraft in terms of lore. LORE. So I'm
Correct.
saying take Master Chief out of it, and that universe is delicious. It is still scrumptious. It is
No, not
inviting.
Master Chief. What do you mean Master Chief? This guy. You
Sorry,
mean Shepard?
Shepard. Sorry. I meant Commander Shepard. My bad. I meant
What an
Commander Shepard.
insult.
Take Shepard out, and
Yes.
still that universe is amazing. So I'm not surprised that Ty hasn't played Mass Effect 1, but
And he needs to.
I'm also not surprised that if you put $100 on the table, I wouldn't be surprised if Ty didn't recite the entirety of the events of Mass Effect 1. He didn't play the game, but if you ask him, he knows exactly what happened in Mass Effect 1.
So Ty, I wish I was in your position where I could experience all the things for the first time in Mass Effect 1. This is me basically saying go play Legendary Edition, and if you're playing it on PC, go download the mods. Ask me to help you to do it. It's the easiest thing in the world, and they make the game so much better. The graphics are better. The guys are so passionate that make those things. Like that community, I applaud them. Like the Mass Effect community, outside all of Nexus mods, are probably the strongest in terms of like frequent updates. Having an app, you don't even have to download the mods and install them yourselves. There's an app that does everything for you, so it manages all the you install it and it manages all the mods for you. So they're so dedicated, and I want to see actually. It's probably the same community that probably works on Dragon Age, and I want to see what they've done for Dragon Age as soon as I finish the trilogy.
That makes me want to replay Mass Effect 1 actually, because I only played it back in the day. I haven't played it with all these mods that you're talking about right now.
Bro,
sounds inviting.
I had a whole reel that's about 2 hours prepared, and I'm gonna convert it next week, and I'm gonna put it on, and then you definitely will tell me what you think. But anyways, let's go back to our topic, because I think we've taken a little bit of a detour. So between Split Fiction and Kingdom Come Deliverance, are we all in
agreement? You're going to have to do the tiebreak. No, we're not. We're not in agreement. Ty says Split Fiction. Ty says Split Fiction. I say Kingdom Come Deliverance. You're going to have to tiebreak.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I guess I think Split Fiction would just get it simply because it's co-op. It's the narrative is probably better around it. But I do think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has a good shout. Like there is no game that comes out this year that wins Game of the Year that people can go crazy about too much. Even if Ghost of Yote wins it, even I'll agree that okay, it's a good game. I'll be surprised, but I can still say it's a good game, and probably there is a shout out for it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really gonna disagree with too much of people's opinions on this because I think there's a shelf for every single game out there. However, if I'm just being very practical, I think none of these games we're talking about is going to win it. I already know which one's going to win it. It's just between Split Fiction and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think that is a good toss-up. Like, I can't say one of them will definitely win it over the other.
Okay, so in my opinion, because of the fact that like how much this guy is a darling, I do think Split Fiction is sort of gonna win. But like, if you ask me who's my favorite in between the two, because I love RPGs, it's definitely Kingdom Come Deliverance. So if if you want to know who I want to win, is definitely Kingdom Come Deliverance. But I think Split Fiction will edge them out simply because of popularity.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are at the last two. Blueprints versus Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh fuck! Two terrible choices. Oh my goodness.
But like, yeah, this is what people are playing this year. Like, do you guys know? I know very little about Blueprints.
Blueprints is the IGN darling, so to speak. Essentially, it's a game where you just solve puzzles, and it's a chill game, and the story apparently is very good, and lots of the journalists were just losing their shit over it. I was excited because everyone kept telling me, "Yo, dude, this game's gonna be amazing. When it comes out, make sure to check it out." I was bored out of my brain, so I left it as soon as it came out. But people still were praising it and saying that it's amazing. That's essentially what Blueprints is. It's
I
nothing
know
special.
nothing about this game, unfortunately. So
It's
you
nothing
guys
special. You can look up the gameplay. It's nothing special, in my opinion. But people like, I can't say who, but yeah, people in media that I spoke to were like, yeah, dude, this thing it's the bee's knees. And when I played it, I was like, I don't see it. And they were like, no, but you have to. It's so awesome. It's so great. And I was like, it's really not. Anyways, yeah, that's what Blueprints is. I would say Blueprints is this year's industry plant. That's what I would say, in my humble opinion.
Maybe that's why I don't know about it, because like I'm a gamer's gamer, so I know the games that all the gamers like play. Like if it's something that's
Do you
being
know
like,
Megabonk? Do you know Megabonk?
do I know what?
There's a game called Megabonk. Have you heard of it?
I didn't say I was a gaming nerd, bro.
You said you're no, Ty.
I was a gamer.
Ty, did this fraud not call himself the gamer's gamer?
He did indeed.
Yeah. But like, what the fuck is that?
The
Like, Ty,
gamer, for anyone in the chat, Ray Chief, for anyone in the chat, the gamer's gamer does not know about Megabonk. The biggest.
Look, I've probably seen it, but I probably didn't pay it any mind.
It since Schedule 1, but he calls himself the gamer's gamer. You open Steam, it's like the first game. It's highlighted, or it's been highlighted on Steam for like 3 weeks. The gamer's gamer, never heard of it. All right, buddy. All right.
Sorry, like I just want to make sure that you guys are on here. Short stream. There we go. On stream, because whenever I click on something else, sometimes it does lose you guys. All right, cool. So, no, I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I.
Gamer's gamer.
But like again, like I just think that's you being a Steam nerd, because that just sounds like a very indie Steam game.
Okay. How many players? How many players until something is not niche? No. Let's do this. I'm a Steam nerd, right?
Like, look, I concede you win. All right, I concede you win. Tay, do you know what's the game's name?
Megabonk.
Yeah, I've heard of the game, but I haven't.
Tay, have you heard of Megabonk?
Yeah, I've heard of the game, but I haven't like played it or really.
Okay, I think Tay is over the other list. I'm going to wait. Short stream. Yeah, there you go. Tay? Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, have you heard of Megabomb?
Ty did not at any point claim to be the gamer's
No,
gamer.
I just want to understand. Like, Ty, have you heard of Megabomb?
I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay, I have.
Jesus, even Ty that says he doesn't even
Ty
play
might be
games, he
just
likes
saying this
talking about
very
games. Fucking
okay.
Ty
Right.
has heard
So,
of
Ty,
Megabomb.
tell me about Megabomb.
This is terrible.
No, I don't. I haven't like played the game. I don't know too much about
No,
it.
I just want to
I've
know
heard of
what's
the
the
game.
concept.
No, I couldn't even tell you, but I've heard the name has kind of passed my ears here and there.
Okay.
Terrible.
Megabomb. Okay, cool. No, I'm sorry. Like, I have no idea what that is. Like,
Megabonk is the roguelike. If you're gonna give a roguelike game of the year, if you wanna give a roguelike game of the year, don't let it be Hades. Let it be Megabonk.
Okay.
Let it be a game that gamers are actually losing their minds over, not something that IGN is putting on their trending tab.
Okay. So, okay, you've exposed me. I'm a fraud. I'm not a gamer's game.
As long as we're clear on that.
I just think you're a Steam nerd, but that's just my opinion. So between Blueprints and Monster Hunter Wilds, I think this
Monster
is a pretty
Hunter. Monster Hunter is an actual game. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't offend anyone.
Ty?
Monster Hunter isn't gonna get it. I think there's been too much. Once again, it's suffering from the sequel problem, and I think
And it came out broken.
And it came out, yeah, and there's still problems till this day with the game, so it's not gonna win it. Blueprints is gonna take it over Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, so it's gonna be so they're gonna be the favorable underdog.
Yeah,
essentially.
Oh. Cool. And that's the list. Is there anything that you guys feel that I left out? Is there any game that you guys feel should be in this running? The classic that came out this year. I'm forgetting what this game is. How can I forget the name of this game? This classic needs to be on this list. But in the interim, is there any game that I'm forgetting?
I can't think of anything. Assassin's Creed Africa? No?
Did that come out this year?
Yeah, Shadows.
I'm pretty sure it came out this year, yeah.
Shadows of Cloud.
So how do you think this game should be nominated for Game?
No.
Because he bought it. He played the game, so he bought it. So I'm just asking. I'm not being...
Okay, what about Metal Gear?
Yes, actually, Metal Gear is not on this list.
But it's a remake. No, we're not gonna be. No.
But
Doom the Dark Ages. Oh yeah, I forgot this one. You didn't put this one. Doom the Dark Ages.
But don't forget that remakes and whatever have also been in the contention before.
Yeah, but we're not retarded.
Okay, fair enough.
We're not. Yeah.
So you're saying that I would have nominated Metal Gear Solid Substance. What is it? It's not Subsistence. It's Metal Gear Solid 3.
Snake Eater.
I would have nominated it simply because of just.
You like eating snakes, Oshis?
Yeah, but it's not even my favorite Metal Gear Solid game, mind you.
This guy did not get the innuendo. Goddamn. All right.
I don't need snakes, bro. I'll leave that to you.
Swallow snakes. All right, gotcha.
I'll leave that to you. Both the swallow snakes. Any consumption of snakes, I'll leave it to my homeboys, like you.
Hey man, the shit is slithery. Anyways, continue.
I agree with you. That game did deserve to be in the running.
Yeah.
Tai, what are we forgetting? Nothing else will make the list. Like Avowed wouldn't make it.
Hell.
Club Obscure.
Oh yeah.
How is Club Obscure not on my list?
Damn. This guy's a fraud. He's a fraud. You know what, Ty? I will never.
Oh my god!
I will never again correct you when you call.
I know why. Because it was supposed to be the show closer. Because it was supposed to be the primary. Yes, here it is. It's supposed to be the game that is the shoehorned, guaranteed to win. Are we in agreement?
It's good. Yeah.
There it is. Yes. So
But
Are we all in agreement? So let me just check its statistics. Do you guys know what its Metacritic ended at?
90
I have no idea.
I'll tell
over
you now.
94, I'm pretty sure.
It's in the
check it.
90s. I was pretty sure
92,
that dropped,
92. Now, for 92, that's the audience. Sorry, that's the critic score. 96 audience score. That is unheard of.
Wow.
That is Halo 2
Wow.
numbers. 96 audience or
And
users
how many people rated it? How many people have rated it?
21,100.
Jesus Christ. Yo, that's a lot of people that are very happy with this game.
It's the GOAT. I think it's a shoehorn. I think we can all agree that this is going to be game of the year, hands down.
Again.
Wait, I'm sorry. Like, you literally said before we started this that's going to be Ghost of Yote because it's Sony.
Well, yes.
He's saying it should. He's saying it should. If the Keyless was about which one is the best game, it should win. It should have won. But that's not what the Keyless are about.
And on top of that,
otherwise Hogwarts Legacy would have won something. Right?
Besides that, look, I feel that this game should be the MVP on the night. It should win the most awards aside just from the game.
Yeah.
It should. This game should clean house.
Should sweep
everything. Everything should go to Xbox 33.
Can I dispel something real quick? This idea that the Game of the Awards is all about Sony, like, because none of this is true. It's just a myth that people have created. And in 2024, Sony had Astrobot was nominated and it won, so you could say Sony won that year. But again, I think most people would agree that Astrobot was a good shout out to win. In 2023,
I don't agree.
No, but I think there's not a huge difference in terms of quality. Like, I could see people kind of see why Astrobot won, right? So I don't think correlation is in causation. Sorry? I'm
a person. Do I not count?
No. Of course it counts, but correlation isn't causation is what I'm saying. That I think most people can agree that, like, well, Astrobot was probably it was a good game. It wasn't like a bad Sony game. There's no smoking gun there. Like, if you went to trial, if you went to trial, like, you would lose, because the only way to prove that, like, it's biased is if Sony released a shitty game and they somehow still won, right?
No, it's not a shitty game. It's just not the game of the year.
There's better games that were released.
Tons.
Like Black Myth Wukong?
Yes.
In what way was it better?
Was better.
In what way?
In what way was Astrobot better?
No, I mean, I asked you first. Go ahead.
No, just because you came first doesn't mean it's a valid question.
What do you mean? How's your question valid then?
I'm saying,
what are you talking about?
No. But by me asking you, I'm trying to point out that line of questioning isn't valid. Because if it was valid, as soon as I asked you that question, if it was valid, as soon as I asked you that question, you'd answer me straight. No problem, no nothing.
I literally asked you first.
Drama. The only reason you're obfuscating and trying to shadow box me right now is because you realize that there's nothing to talk about there.
No, you answered my question with a question, so I didn't answer your question. If you asked me the question first, I would have went into details. I'm answering your question.
You know I don't have the habit of answering questions with other questions. I know it's rude, but for this specific point, I think it's valid because it doesn't fit. Because I completely disagree with Astrobot having won, and I still haven't heard till today a valid justification of why it won.
It's a great game.
So when you ask me why was this one better, I would like to know why was Astrobot better. All anyone can ever tell me is that it was a good game. I'm like, all right, what made it a good game? What makes it a great game?
Before I even give my opinion, because I haven't played the game, I can say the Metacritic of Astrobot is 92,
You want me to
The
repeat myself
Metacritic of
about
Black
how
Myth
Metacritic
Wukong
is not valid?
is the Metacritic of Black Myth Wukong is 81. The user score, this is the fans now voting of Black Myth
The
Wukong.
fans that
This is,
on
wait,
one
hold on, let me
game
finish.
people
The
say
user score of Black Myth Wukong is 8.2, and of Astrobots, this is a user score. This is not critics. This is user score 8.2, and on Astrobots, it's 9.1.
okay.
Like, you just on the face of that, Astrobot is a better game. Also, not only that,
Because
yeah.
of
Wait, hold on. Just
because
real
of
quick.
Metacritic.
Black Myth Wukong came out and people said there was problems. It wasn't smooth. It was a bit
Yes,
broken,
on PC.
and they
It
had
was rough.
invisible
It was rough
walls
on
and they
PC.
had problems. But Astrobot was a complete game that came out and no bugs, no problems whatsoever.
Yes.
Can I just so sorry, Luke. I know you want to go with this, but like if you're gonna use Metacritic, then that means that we can also use sales. And if we compare,
You can't. No, you can't use sales.
But okay, but
sales is
but
a contributing
take it from
factor.
sales.
I no.
Take it
Wait, I agree with you. Sales is a contributing factor, but one thing that's really, really important.
Chinese sales don't matter. That's what he wants to really say. Tell us.
No.
Tell us.
Sales,
We get it.
The reason why sales doesn't matter as much is because we know Hogwarts Legacy didn't win. We know Call of Duty doesn't win. So sales, we can't say sales matters. We can't say it matters when it matters to
So
us.
it's the bias of the journal.
The fact that's important here is that Black Myth Wukong, most of its sales came
And that's
from.
what I wanted to highlight, Oshus.
It came from China or Asia, and the
Exactly.
people who are picking the winners here, they are not China and Asia. They are Western reviewers.
Okay. So can I just before you guys continue this conversation, what we're trying to determine here is not who. Oh, actually, let me transition because we were talking about like who do we think who is going to win, right?
Yeah, because this is
We
about
have
us now. This is about our personal
So-
evaluation.
Exactly. So I'm saying if the Keeleys were fair, because like again, like you said, like you made a statement at the beginning of this, you're saying that the whole perception that it's all about PlayStation is false. And again, I can go into another entire argument with you about that, as to why I disagree with that statement. But that's not what I want us to do. But what I want us to focus on is that if you guys were the guys that were making the decisions for the Keeleys or the Game of the Year awards, would you agree with like or like motivate based on that? Not on like I hear what Ty is saying. Ty is saying basically, well, if we look at historically who's won and based on how they've won, but I'm saying based on if you guys were on that board and you had to vote.
I was bored out of my brain playing Astrobot. I quit. I gave up. By the time I got to the second planet, I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm trying to have fun. No one can convince me Astrobot was a game of the year, even contender. Forget that it won. Even a contender, bro. No.
Because we like, the thing is we don't know what like all the moving parts are when those guys decide. So I think let's make that how we would if we were in that whole thing. What would be the thinking behind us choosing that?
I'll let Ty go first on this one. I'm curious.
They're choosing a game to win.
Yeah.
I think if I had it really my way, I wasn't trying to go into detail. I would just go on the quality of the game, really. So I think whichever one has probably the highest Metacritic will probably more or less get it. I think that kind of speaks to what the commercial, not the commercial, but what the reviewers feel like and what the fans also feel like. I know people who love Black Myth Wukong and even Stellar Blade. And as much as they like it, as much as they had a lot of fun with it, they don't think it's a perfect game, and they wouldn't put it as game of the year. Because I think you get those games that kind of catches your attention, and story-driven games have a good way of doing this because they kind of pull out your heartstrings and they leave a more memorable experience than maybe other type of games. So for me, this year, based on what we have, I would say Collab Scale is probably going to take it. I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 also because it's a good story from what I've heard. That could take it as well. And I'll probably throw in there Split Fiction, because I just think a game that brings people together, family, friends, children, uncles, whatever it is. Like I know girls who don't know anything about games, and they were saying, "Hey, I heard about this game called Split Fiction. You're gonna play with someone. I want to give it a try." I think when a game does something like that that reaches beyond the core audience, I think that game probably deserves a shout out to for the game of the year. So for me, it'll be those three games: Split Fiction, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Club Scare.
So, um, there are games that have won Game of the Year that have had less than 90% Metacritic, right?
Yeah.
Did Death Stranding not win Game of the Year?
No.
The first
No,
one.
I'm pretty sure it didn't.
No way,
Pretty
dude.
sure it didn't. No.
Okay.
Maybe
So,
won
no-
some awards, but not the actual Game of the Year award. No.
Okay. So look, go ahead. Your spiel.
On what specifically?
Your motivations, like your final take as to who should win and why.
Oh, who should win? I think the right way to go, because it's Game of the Year. It's not most reviewed game. It's Game of the Year. I would try and figure out and perfect the system that they tried to implement. I think it was 2022, 2021. When last I was when I used to give credibility to the Game Awards, they had a fan vote where you kind of had to share your Steam account or your Xbox account or your PlayStation account to vote on which game you thought was the Game of the Year, but you could only vote once. So
Mhm.
what I would do, I would make a combination. I would say, like Ty is saying right there, I would say what are the most reviewed games, the best reviewed games, right? So like 90 up every year. I don't care if there's 20 of them. All 20 are nominees for Game of the Year. But
Mhm.
that's as far as the critics go in terms of power to pick the Game of the Year. They will pick the shortlist, no problem. But the actual Game of the Year, that's up to the gamers. That's what I would do. I'd be like, all right, we've got our 20 nominees. Everyone now needs to grab their Xbox verified account, their Steam verified account, their GOG verified account, their PlayStation verified, their Nintendo verified, and boom, pick your Game of the Year, and that's all.
So, interesting. I just looked this up. So, there's the only three games that have won Game of the Year that are below 80 Metacritic were,
Below 80 or below 90?
sorry, below 90. It was Dragon Age Inquisition, Sekiro, and It Takes Two. So there have been games that have been less than 90 Metacritic that have won, and it's those three. Um,
Just
okay.
three.
Yeah, just three. It's just three. Every other game that's won has had over 90 Metacritic since 2014. All right, cool. So, just to make sure that we close everything because we're almost at the end of the show. So, in terms of what you guys were going, like, did I miss anything in terms of like what you guys were having your back and forth about that you want us to cover before we go?
No, nothing really on my side. But I just wanted to, finish the point that like the idea of Sony controlling the Game of the Awards is a myth. Like I said, 2024 Astro
This
Part
man
1.
is out here defending some.
In 2023, Sony's Spider-Man 2 lost to Baldur's Gate 3. In 2022, Sony's God of War Ragnarok lost to Elden Ring. In 2021, Sony's Ratchet and Clank lost to It Takes Two. In 2020, Sony won. In 2019, Death Stranding, which is Sony affiliated, lost to Sekiro in 2018. God of War 1, and in 2017, Horizon Zero Dawn lost to The Legend of Zelda. And we're going to keep going back to 2016, where Overwatch beat Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Also, Bloodborne came out in 2015 and lost to The Witcher 3. So if we're looking at the last, potentially 10 years, out of those 10 Game Awards, Sony has won 1, 2, 3 in the last 10 years. I think they've won 3.
Okay. So who's won the most awards out of any studio?
But I see that I wouldn't even count.
Who has won?
Wait. If you're gonna ask me, it's maybe Sony. Yeah,
it's not maybe.
Okay. So that's where I was gonna go. I was like, okay, you picked one category and they lost. All right, can we collate now all the awards and see what's up?
Because again, if we had a court case, you would have to prove that these games should not have won and these games were bad, and you'd have to prove that Nintendo and Microsoft had other games that should have won instead. And we know Microsoft didn't have any other games that probably should have won, right? So the question is, what Nintendo games do you think should have won?
There's also third party publishers. Listen,
third-party publishers won most of the awards. Yeah.
What we can do leading up to the awards ceremony, since clearly Ushers, you do care a lot more than I do about this. What we could do is take some time to do this research, and maybe next week or the actual week we could look into the curious statistics.
I'm saying it right now. I don't know what
Sony has the most wins with.
I'm saying it right now. Yeah, Nintendo had no game in 2024. What 2024 Nintendo game should have won the award? No,
and that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying we need to do the research, because then these types of questions, we need to look at every single year and be like, yo, this game was snubbed in 2024.
We can do a quick one. Yeah, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom came out in 2023. It lost to Baldur's Gate 3. Should Nintendo have won that?
So the most awards have gone to Sony with God of War in 2018, Last of Us Part 2, and Astrobot in 2024.
So that 3, and it's a fraud. 3 awards, and you're a legend of fraud. If you took this to court, if you took this to court, you'll get laughed out of here, right? You do know that.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 awards. So out of 11, 3 is a lot.
But out of 11, 3 is a lot. That's like less than 20%.
Exactly.
Less than 30%. Yeah, but are the games good? That's like saying whenever Kojima puts up a game at the Game Award, he gets nominated. Are the games good? It's Kojima. Is the game's good? You go to court, and he says, "I'm a legend fraud," because whenever Nintendo or Sony, who make amazing games, when they always get nominated, so it's fraud. The judge is gonna say, "Are the games good?"
No, we're not talking about nomination. We're talking about wins specifically.
Less than 30% wins, and you're a legend fraud.
Nobody has a higher percentage, bro.
Why?
Not even.
What is the reason why?
Fraud? It kind of answers itself. This seems like a cyclical discussion. I don't think we're getting anywhere here.
Okay. So just to be clear, in 2023, just answer me, please. In 2023, Sony should have beat Baldur's Gate 3.
With what?
What did they have?
Sony had not Sony. Nintendo should have. Sorry, Spider-Man 2 should have beat Baldur's Gate 3.
No, but Spider-Man 2 was a broken game.
Wait. Let's not do life story here. Just Spider-Man 2 should have beat Baldur's Gate 3.
How? Based on what?
Yeah, exactly. Baldur's Gate 3 won. So where's the
Because
fraud? Okay,
those
okay, there's
game
none there.
three
Okay,
won't
okay, okay.
give
There's
you
none there.
that
In
year.
2022, should God of War Ragnarok have beaten Elden Ring?
No.
Okay, so no fraud. Okay, fine. In 2021,
Because you can't deny,
in
like, there's so many things you can't
2021,
deny.
in
Taye.
2021, should Ratchet and Clank have beaten It
Oh,
Takes
damn.
Two?
Yes, absolutely, I agree with that.
So wait, so you think Sony should have won an extra award that year?
Yeah, absolutely.
So where's the fraud?
No, I'm saying I didn't say it was a fraud. I just said that like Sony had won the most. I just
Wait,
stated a fact.
wait, I'm confused. You've said no to the last couple of years, but there's a year where you actually believe they should have won and they didn't win. So can Sony turn
When
around
did I
and say, "Oh
say
no, it's,
no to the last couple of
well,
years?
Oshos is saying that we
Don't
should have won,
confuse
so it's
my
fraud."
argument. No. Like I said to you that they've won it the most times, and when
Yeah,
the
but what
guy
does
that
that
runs,
mean? What are you insinuating with that statement?
I'm insinuating that when the guy that runs the service is a Sony fanboy, it does raise suspicion. That's where the evidence in terms of
okay,
suspicion.
but then you need to
But because
actually-
listen to what I'm saying, because this is what you've been asking. Is that what is your statement was that you think this whole thing of people thinking that Sony taking or like they've got the most wins, because this doesn't just relate to them winning the Game of the Year award. It relates to them, like, when you look at the Game of the Year award, they've already taken so many awards. You ignoring the fact that they take so many awards every year for every
Why?
other category.
I'm asking, yeah, but
Like,
I'm asking why.
wait, if I go now and I search who has won the most Game of the Year, like the most awards at the Game of the Year awards, I probably think it's gonna be Sony or Sony Games.
Yeah, no, but why?
Okay, but like,
Why?
okay, let me finish. So your statement was, you don't think that this whole bias, you think it's bias for people to think that Sony has an unfair
I'm
advantage.
saying they have no evidence whatsoever.
Okay, you said we have no evidence. First of all, the guy that runs the awards, Keeley, that's why they call the Keeleys, that's why everybody has that nickname for them, the Keeleys, is a PlayStation fanboy.
Yeah, but we know how
Has-
the selection works. Keys doesn't make a decision;
Yeah.
it's the journalist. Because I find it convenient that at some point you say, "Oh, the journalists are the one making the decisions," but then when you switch your
The
argument,
journalist
well,
has
you
the
know
one
it's
making
Keely.
the decision, but who has the final say?
He doesn't have
Who's
the
the
final
one?
say. Do you have evidence that he has the final say?
Oh my god. Whose show is it?
Taye, I'm sorry, but because
Does
this
he
is
have the
not
final
a
say?
sport, because this is not a sport, it's at the end of the day, it's just innuendo. It's why
Let me
why
just
people could easily point at the Oscars and accuse them of whatever, and then the Oscars had to lower their heads and just start nominating a whole bunch of black movies just because it's not something you can easily quantify.
Keely doesn't have the final say on who wins.
You can't prove that he does
Like,
or doesn't.
Wait. To be very clear, that's not how this works. You are the one making the accusation. You're alleging it,
True.
so therefore you have
True.
to prove
True.
it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like I can't say Loki's hacking into the system. Okay, your response is gonna be, well, prove it. Well, look, you have
That's
a supercomputer that can hack. Okay, yeah, but prove it. Prove I'm a hacker.
That is fair, Ty.
Again, like just because like Ushers, even you, like you literally said Ratchet
Hold
and
on, Ty.
Clank should have
Before you go
beaten
to
It
Ushers,
Takes
hold on.
Two.
Ty, hold on. Before you go to Ushers, the reason why I quickly acquiesce to what you just said is because I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, that you're making the accusation, you have to prove it. But
Yeah.
that's me agreeing with you. But when you made your rant saying that, oh, this thing is just a fantasy, it's a conspiracy theory, etc., you're not really addressing me or Oshus. You're addressing the mass public that believes this. And what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
I
say,
agree.
but hold on. By me quickly acquiescing to what you're saying, what I'm trying to demonstrate to you is that the mass public really does not care about your specific and concise logic, because everything you just said makes complete sense, but it doesn't matter to the public, especially when paired with other inconsistencies at the Game Awards. Case in point, Hogwarts Legacy, an organization that is willing to throw away just basic honesty and do what they did to Hogwarts Legacy, how can you trust this organization to be truthful about anything moving forward? It's stuff like that makes people be like, nah, man, you can say whatever we want from these guys. They have no real credibility. Oh, no, they do have credibility. All right, explain Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, okay, that was just,
I can explain Hogwarts Legacy for sure.
Okay, please explain Hogwarts Legacy for us.
Hogwarts Legacy, because I think Hogwarts Legacy was also nominated for, or I was getting the nomination for most the Players' Choice Awards, and then eventually lost like
at the
Genshin
Keeleys.
Impact. Yeah, it was
No,
up there in
no.
the top. It was up there in
Yeah,
the
but
top
that's
10.
a player award, but it didn't get nominated.
Yeah. No. I'm
It
just saying
didn't
that,
win
like,
any.
no.
It
What I'm
was
trying to
not.
say is that, like, what I'm
It,
trying to
it,
say
it
is,
was not nominated for a single
wait,
award.
hold on. What I'm trying to say is,
And
like,
that was the best-selling
you
game that year.
yeah, hold on, wait. This if they didn't want it to win anything, they wouldn't have even had it at the Player Award, Choice Award, because the idea that Hogwarts Legacy wins Player Choice Award is even more damning to them than any other situation. Now, the reason why it didn't get any nominations is not because Keeley did something. The reason why they didn't win any nominations is because we know the people who pick the games are the journalists, who are probably, to be honest, way more woke than Keeley's. So he doesn't need to do anything. Like, how can we say the panelists are the media who said cyberpunk, whoa, we have to fight police, Black Lives Matter? I'm not sure I'm feeling that. The same media that you're accused of pushing the narrative, attacking the fans over and over again, supporting and pushing, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, all these things. The same people who are making the decisions is the media. So I don't need to jump to Keeley's as a fraudster. I can just jump to the people who are making the decisions. It's the media.
Okay, so your issue is that we think Jeff Keighley himself is disingenuous. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
yes,
move the
because
goalpost. I will
remember,
personally move the goalpost. The people, Tai, are not really pointing the finger at Jeff Keighley. They're saying the entire thing is disingenuous. They're not saying, "Oh, it's just Jeff."
but
They're
it's
saying the whole
it's
thing.
disingenuous. It's disingenuous because the media are the one who's picking it, and the media are more left-leaning woke. This has nothing to do with the Game Awards or Jeff Keighley being a bad person or being fraud or whatever it is. It's by the nature of the people voting. If you put like 25 black guys to pick, the best chick or whatever it is, yeah, it's probably gonna be a thick chick, right? With a huge ass, huge, like it is, right?
No, it depends on
Are
the
you
age.
saying that, like,
Actually.
are you
It
saying, oh no,
depends-
well,
it depends on the age.
if you put Beyonce and you put like whoever it is, like,
No,
like let's go all the way back to like the 90s.
no,
whatever
I
it is, yeah.
disagree.
Wait,
I
hold on,
disagree.
wait. Let's go all the way back to the 90s, yeah, whatever it is, yeah. And you put Britney Spears up there and you put Beyonce up there, yeah. And the panel's mainly black guys, yeah. You think Britney Spears is winning?
Listen,
Is Britney Spears winning?
Example. You know why this doesn't work, Ty? You know why this doesn't work? Because you have already created the shortlist. If you want to use this analogy, you have to have an open analogy.
So Ty,
because wait. The panel creates the shortlist. So you have 10.
And what I'm saying is, following your example. Hold on, Oshus. Hold on. He asked something. Let's answer. Following your analogy, Ty, what you should have said was, if you take 10 guys and you tell them from all the women on the planet, what's your shortlist? And what I'm saying is that from that shortlist, you would not get a uniform rejection of one of the most wanted and liked types.
So
that's all I'm saying.
Can I ask a question to both of you? Who do you think has won the most awards at the Game Awards historically? Which publisher?
Publisher.
Which publisher has won the most awards? Not just the Game Awards, but like in terms of like awards, because
maybe
it's gonna be tragic. It's probably Electronic Arts. It's gonna break our hearts. Probably Electronic Arts.
All right. Sony Interactive Entertainment has won the most awards at the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's awards show. with an accumulative of 21 wins across all categories from 2014 to 2024.
Wait, I'm confused. What's so funny about that?
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, so go back to my question, yeah. Because look, what you said is, well, if you have a group of men around the world or whatever, then
you're the one who said it, brother. You're the one who said it.
No,
I did not come up with this analogy of if you take 10 black guys.
You'll be multicultural. I said black guys.
No, I'm saying even 10 black guys. I'm saying if you take 10 black guys and tell them from all the women on the planet, what I'm telling you is that you will not get a uniform response. That's not going to happen.
I'm not
They're
talking
not
about
going
uniform.
to look at Latinas, for example, and then all of them roundly.
I'm talking about majority response. I'm talking about majority response, not uniform.
So all I'm saying is that like Sony has won the most Game of the Year awards, and they've won the most awards throughout the history of the entire thing.
None of my points have been addressed.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
None of my points has been addressed. Can we all say here, like, can we say from a stereotype point of view, Caucasians are generally into Caucasian looking features, and black Afro people are generally into black Afro features, and Asian people are generally into Asian features. So if you have a panel of Asian people to pick, what do you mean no? How?
I'm saying no because
based on what? Wait, you think Europeans are not into European features?
If you don't interrupt me, I will explain.
Okay. So
my point of view is that people are attracted to other people. Black people are accused of only being into or of mostly being into black people because that's who they're around. White people, same thing. That's why whenever you get a situation where there's a lot of interaction between the races, the shit pops off. Suddenly you start seeing a whole lot of interracial stuff happening. And that's all that happens. When black people are put into a neighborhood with only black people, then they will procreate. When black people are put into a neighborhood with white people, it happens. And vice versa. You put Chinese people into a white community, they will mingle. You put Indian people into a black community, they shall mingle. It just is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because Ty is trying to point out that the black guys, in his analogy, will only go for black women. And I'm saying that's not true.
I never said only. I said from a majority.
So given the option of the entire planet, Ty, they will not only go for black women.
I never said they would only go for black women.
Can I ask you a question? I just want to ask you a question based on the stats that I gave you. So you don't think there's anything unusual about the fact that like Sony has the most actual Game of the Year, even if it's just 3?
I'll say this: I can't speak to.
No, they have the game.
They have the most wins in terms of Game of the Year awards, and they have the most wins by a huge margin in terms of how many times they've won awards at their, like whether it's for best adventure game or whatever. They have the most awards. They've got 21 awards. They've got 3 Game of the Year awards. And they've got 21 awards overall in their history since the beginning of the game.
Before I even answer that, what I can say is this: I don't actually really go too deep into like things that are like in 2020, 2010, 29, or like 2008, because I think maybe that's corrupt. You know, who knows? I can't really speak for those kind of years because it's different now. I like to focus more on recent, like 5-10 year spans. I think that because that's more telling, that's more reflective of the actual environment that we're living in now. Like FIFA was probably corrupt a lot more back in the days. Now it's probably a lot more chilled. Like who knows, right?
FIFA is still very corrupt. FIFA is still, dude. I can send you some videos. FIFA is disgusting.
No, I understand. Yeah, but I guess my point here, like, if somebody told me that, like, hey, the Republicans are racist, like, I don't want people telling me, like, well, 20 years ago they did this. It's like, well, what about now? Like, in the last 5 to 10 years?
No, I'm saying so accumulatively.
No. I'm just giving that as a pretext. Now, the next thing I'll say here is this year. one thing that we know that happened around, like with I think the PS3 era, was that a specific kind of game became very popular, and those kind of games
Yes.
were story-driven narrative games.
Yeah.
This is what made people in Europe let you go buy PlayStation, God of War, Daddy kind of game, The Last of Us Daddy kind of game. So the media and the actual consumer were enjoying these story-driven third-person over-the-shoulder games, and because Sony was the one leading charge, it meant that by default they would actually end up probably winning a lot more. And keep in mind, I don't believe I could be wrong here, but Nintendo was still making the fun, cool game that everyone liked. But like, was it the game that you really wanted to win Game of the Year?
Cool is not a word I would use.
The person who could compete was Xbox, and they weren't dropping those kind of games. They were well behind. So by default, the trend moved towards Sony. And now, if we start seeing the trend move towards AA games, whoever who's making AA games a lot will likely win.
Okay.
Like, that's just it.
He's right.
All right. I don't even know how. So how do you quantify that trend, Tade?
What I can say is that in the last 15 Game of the Year awards, Sony won 3.
Yeah, but like, how do you quantify this trend that you're talking about? Like people's
yeah, we can. I guess we don't really need to go into crazy details, but what we can say is like, was there a trend of people wanting and liking story?
No, but like, I want you to quantify it for me. I don't want you to sort of speculate and talk about like maybe there was a trend or whatever. Quantify it for me. I
mean, I guess I could quantify it in the sense that God of War sold 20 million copies, Last of Us sold 20 million copies, and then you have games like
there were no other games during that time that sold similar numbers that were in different genres and not made by Sony.
No, but what games were they? And what were the genres? I'm talking about the preference of genres. Like, think about it. Like, if the people who if the okay,
well, if you give me a year, I could tell you. But
put it this way: Mario Kart. Oh wait, Animal Crossing sold 30 million copies.
And another thing that you said.
Wait, just real quick. Animal Crossing sold 30 million copies. Okay. God of War sold 20 million copies.
Okay.
Is Animal Crossing gonna win Game of the Year over God of War? Because it sold 10 million more copies. Because the people who are voting are not these very casual, happy-go-lucky fans like your auntie, your sister. It's the hardcore fans who you're trying to still court. So, of course, the Game of the Year award is going to focus more on those people.
That play all those games. They play Animal Crossing just as much as they play God of War. It's the media insiders that are...
because then if that's true, then Call of Duty wins every single year.
Yeah, but like, they never give Call of Duty high scores to begin with.
Yeah, but like, even if they did, like, do you think Call of Duty is gonna win Game of the Year award? Like, even if it gets a 9 out of 10?
I mean, I won't lie. What's this game? One game of the year.
I'm just like, wait, just to be clear, like, Club Obscure has sold like 5 million copies. Ghost of Yote, like, we could probably find other games that's gonna come out. Assassin's Creed Shadows has probably done more than that. Like, I don't know, like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 shouldn't win because they didn't sell as much?
No, like, I said nothing about sales. I'm just saying to you, like, are you saying that sales are what motivates this argument?
No. I'm saying that when God of War Ragnarok came out, and so there's all these Sony games with Horizon and Spider-Man. There was a trend. Remember, EA said nobody likes single player games. Sony says, "Oh, I bet let's test that theory out. Here's Spider-Man. Here's God of War. Here's Uncharted. Here's even like not Demon Souls. Here's Bloodborne." Sony started pushing single player games out, third party single player games, and people started to gravitate towards single player games. Right? I mean, are you saying that isn't true? I'm just wondering.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just wanted to know in terms of, like, are you saying that is it the critics that we should listen to, or is it the audience? Because
I'm saying the audience and the critics were unified on this point, because remember, you said it yourself, the critics love the idea of, like, well, I'm a father now, so God of War makes sense to me because of Aratus is a kid, whatever it is, Aloy is a girl trying to search for her mom, these things. Joel and Ellie, father and daughter relationship. These things became popular. That's why we started to see more Sony games do these things. And the more Sony games did these things, the more they made money. 20 million copies. Yeah, sorry, 20
Okay.
million sales in
So
millions.
I'm not.
So the trend happened. I guess my point here is this year is that when you say like, well, out of 15 game awards, Sony won 3.
Yeah, they've
It's
won
like,
the most. Like my thing is this,
that
like the guy
but that
who
says
ran.
nothing.
Okay, so this is okay. So like look, I'm gonna put it to you next. So all I'm saying is that like it's just weird to me that the guy that runs the awards is a PlayStation fan. Everybody knows that he's a PlayStation fanboy, and if you look at the historic record of the actual awards being won, Sony has won the most awards in terms of overall awards for the entire span of the series, and they've also won the most Game of the Year awards. And if you're saying that there's no sort of, because your statement was that you don't see that there's any sort of correlation, in the sense that people saying that it's unfair or it's weird. I'm just saying that, like, to me, I don't know, that's a little bit suspicious that like a guy that happens who run the show and be a PlayStation fan, and for some reason, if you look at the two main categories, most awards Sony, most Game of the Year awards Sony, and we're supposed to be okay with the fact and think that he's objective. I think you need to bring a little bit more evidence to say, well, you know what, there's other mitigating factors to say that he was not unobjective in giving those games that. And I think what Loke said was very accurate to say, okay, you know what, we can have a debate about this and we can unpack it. I completely agree with Luke, but I just my whole point was just that it just looks weird from anyone that's logical. Say, okay, cool, this guy's a game. He's a Sony fan, and Sony has won the most awards in most categories. Not weird. That's all I'm saying.
So Ty brings up an interesting point, which I hadn't thought about, but also makes sense. Sony did kind of strike gold at the right time. They pivoted to this specific type of video game with The Last of Us and the Metal Gears and whatever, because video games used to mostly be focused on mascots. Like, we're all here old enough to remember when it was all about your mascot and your platformer. But at some point, somewhere between 2005 and 2012, I guess, the mascot died, and it became like the popular game became like more mature and ponderous, etc. Right? The movie game that everyone memes on till today, but we still can't get away with it. Even Clay Obscure, even Kingdom Come Deliverance, Death Stranding, these are still games that are like results of decisions made from 2008, essentially, because they still have that same tone. They're still aiming for the mature audience, etc., etc. So I kind of agree with Tyre that Sony found themselves at the cutting edge of this genre, this new genre that was so embraced, that just became so embraced by everyone. And they just found themselves there, and they've been riding that wave forever, essentially. So I can see, using that context, I can see how we can look at the Game Award records and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why Sony has the most awards. And it makes sense for them to have the most awards, because whenever brown sugar became the most loved sugar, Sony had like stockpiles and stockpiles of brown sugar, while everyone else was still making white sugar. And they had to try and transition and change. And Nintendo didn't even try to change. They were just like, nah, man, this is what we do, and we're just gonna keep doing it. So yeah, I guess that's where I would end it, on that middle ground personally, which is it's not that crazy to look at the numbers and understand how Sony became number one in terms of the numbers at the Sony Awards. They would be called the Microsoft Awards if for some reason the industry had fallen in love with first-person shooters back in the day on console.
Ushers, you're on mute.
Oh snap! So in conclusion, I wonder why I was muted. So in conclusion, I just want to understand, right? So are you in agreement with Taye to say that regardless of what the numbers say in terms of like how many awards that Sony has won, it's all circumstantial and it doesn't really build a case to say that Sony has done this in because of the fact that the guy that runs the awards is a fan of Sony's content, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's his award show.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree that what I would say is that if you look at Sony's wins, I'm pretty sure you could look at. I'm specifically talking about the Game Awards because I would definitely be down to look at each award for each category in each year. I think that would be an interesting exercise. I'm not sure you guys would be really down for such a meticulous look at it, but I would not be against it personally.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about Game Awards specifically. The only one from that from the list I think I would fight is Astrobot, actually.
Okay, so can we all then put to rest that the game, like the Keeleys, are not subjective? Like, can we all then agree that okay, cool, they're completely objective and it's got nothing to do with Sony?
No,
never had.
no, they're not objective. Hold on. What one thing
I
does
mean,
not
like
cancel out
objective
the
from the
other.
point of view of platform. Like they don't prefer one publisher over the other. Can we all agree on that?
Okay, yeah. They're not objective, but also I don't think it would be fair for the specific category of Game of the Year. I'm not talking about the whole thing. For just Game of the Year, I would say it would be unfair to say that they're just Sony shills.
What about like overall the other genres where Sony has dominated?
We'd have to look at it. We'd have to look at them. I want to look at them. I want to take the time to be like, who won Best Music in 2015? Who won Best Music in 2016? Who were they up against, etc., etc.
Okay, I see that. Okay, cool. So like for my thing is like it was just putting it out there, like saying that like the reason everybody has that opinion is because of the fact that the data, if you look at the numbers, it suggests that like they are incredibly favorable of Sony. But if you guys are saying that like in this platform, when we look at the numbers, we have to also look at like the years that they came out and look at that data, and you're saying that you are.
Can I interject real quick with that, just because I think I need to round up. The problem that's happened a lot in like society in the last 5-10 years, whatever it is that everyone thinks there's some kind of analyst or they have some level of intelligence, so they can say things and they can deduct and then come to a conclusion. The truth is, most of them are just fucking stupid. It's a lie.
Damn,
they don't have any level of deduction skills. So they take a surface level quote or statement and then they fancy themselves professors and then they come to a conclusion. The idea that you can say, well, Sony has won 5 Game of Awards over the other guys, therefore it's a hack and there's a shills going on, is false. Someone who's doing a master's or someone who's going into law, going to a courtroom, will say, okay, this is a statement, there's 5 wins here. Are those 5 wins justified? Let's look into it. Let's look at the circumstances. Let's look at the mitigating factors that allow these guys to win. When the FTC's case was going on with Microsoft, regardless if you wanted it to win or not, Lena Khan made statements and then it went to court. If you paid attention to that court case, every single argument she made was completely destroyed. On the face of it, you will come to the conclusion that if ABK gets bought, that Xbox becomes a monopoly. But when you actually had to argue those points point by point, she completely got destroyed. So my point here is when people say these very surface level takes, all you're showing to people is that you do low tier analysis.
So,
If
can I ask you
you
a
say
question?
statement, if you
Can I
say
ask you a
statement,
question?
oh, let me to finish real quick. If you say a statement, someone should be able to ask you, well, how did you come to that conclusion? And your take shouldn't be, well, because it just looks like it. It should be, well,
Can
X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, and then that's fine.
So can I ask you a question because you just discredited Lina Khan? So what is Lina Khan?
The FTC, sorry, the ex-FTC chief.
So are you saying her credentials are invalid because of the case that she made? And can you
no appealing to authorities?
It was very simple. Like she said a lot of stupid. Like you literally said, she said a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
As if she's incompetent and she wasn't doing so. Please, can you just qualify that? Because that's your point. Is that like people just say stupid shit? Like, do you think
she
that's
said? Okay. I'll say this just so yeah. She said
that's someone that's applicable to a professional like Lina Khan. That's her job at that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She said we all have jobs.
Okay.
We've had
she said
that.
Wait, hold on. Wait. She said if she wait, hold on.
Comparing her.
Because wait, hold on. I want to assess you guys' take on this year. She said if Xbox, if she thought Gmail was part of our Star client or whatever it is. She said if Xbox buys ABK and Gmail said as well, that PlayStation as a brand will be destroyed. Do you guys believe that?
I know I don't.
Excuse me. So that's not what we're arguing, Tai. We're arguing her credentials because you're like what you said to me was just a bit concerning in the sense that like you said, well, everybody that's like you literally said idiots just say random shit on the internet.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, are you saying that Lina Khan is an idiot that just says random shit on the internet?
Yeah. The FTC case was a complete farce. The FTC case was a complete farce. It was a joke.
No,
that's why she lost.
No. I don't care about your opinion on the FTC case. I'm saying
no. I'm talking about the specific. Listen, you know like listen. There's a guy who probably has a master's who's probably on 500K because he's a great doctor or like he's not an idiot overall. But on the topic, on this specific topic, yeah, you're an idiot. You're a dumbass. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. In the same way, hold on. Wait. In the same way, hold on. In the same way, how there could be a guy who has a high IQ and he has a PhD and he's the head of a department. She was kidnapped by the CS. Corporation.
Fix your sound.
And he's the head of some corporation, and then he says there's a white genocide going on in South Africa. Your first statement should be how, why, show me your evidence. And if he says, well, I'm seeing some white South Africans complain about it, you think he's a fucking idiot then, obviously.
So, okay, so that's my opinion, but he's the president.
Wait. Is your your opinion that, in your opinion, there is not a white genocide happening?
No, that's not the question.
Wait. I just want to answer my question.
No, I just want
to ask this question, yeah.
Well, you can ask.
My opinion is there's a white genocide. You say, my opinion, there isn't a white genocide. Are you going to say, no, fuck your opinion. The facts are saying there isn't a white genocide. The facts.
No, but like, whoa, hold up. So who cares what I say if Donald Trump says that there's a white genocide in South Africa?
Can you say Donald Trump is incorrect factually?
I can say that, but then
that's my point. Yeah. Can you say Donald Trump is being stupid for saying that?
So fair enough. I agree with you. So can we say that if we look at the numbers and what they suggest about the Game Awards, that what you're saying is incorrect about them being objective?
I don't know what you mean by, well, objective is such a strong word. Yeah, I kind of.
If we look at the data suggests that like they win more awards than anyone else, right?
Well, hold on. I can only talk about the Game Awards, like the actual Game of the Year, as opposed to I haven't looked into your.
No, I'm talking about overall. They win more awards at the Game Awards than any other studio, and the guy that happens to be in charge is a place.
Before I ever make that claim, I will need to look into all the other award categories and see if they were justified or not.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go back to the South Africa thing. Let's go back to the South Africa thing.
Yeah.
The South African conversation. So you have a whole bunch of experts. You have the world's richest man and the president of the United States saying that there's a genocide happening in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where do you start? What do you believe, Ty?
No, I will need to look into it.
Exactly.
I just don't take your word for it.
Critical thinking,
So-
Moshes.
Exactly. So again, when we say to you that so did you look into the fact that like Sony has the most awards?
No.
One.
Because I was
But you
focusing. No,
Okay.
wait. I was solely focusing on Game of the Year.
Okay, cool.
And I said,
So-
wait a second, wait, this doesn't really make sense. So I
Yeah.
went to go look at this. Was years ago. I looked at that and even I just recently, and then that's how I was getting the notes ready for that point you said. And I'm saying that based on the last 10 years, the Game of the Year, the fact that Sony only won it 3 times doesn't indicate that it's corrupt. Number one, and number two, were there justified reasons why they lost and won? And the answer is yes. Therefore, it can't be corrupt.
So this is the problem. So this is the problem with the entire thing about if there's a genocide in South Africa, is because there's a lot of data that suggests that there's a lot of violence against farmers in South Africa. So does that mean that there is no genocide against whites? So against farmers specifically, or white farmers in South Africa? No. It means that you need to go study and understand what you're looking at, and you need to look at the context of what you're looking at before you give an answer. So it's exactly the same thing.
No, I agree, and that's why.
It's
that's why
not.
my
It's
friend-
not exactly.
No, but you're right, because remember that's why my friend, when he was arguing with me about the genocide situation, I said, "Yo, I actually know a guy from South Africa who is quite smart about these things, yeah. And let me link you guys up." And then he spoke to you, and notice how when you were speaking, he was asking you questions, and you were giving him the actual facts. He said something about well, South Africa doesn't have like good infrastructure or whatever it is, yeah. And you told him like, yeah, it's based on corruption. And he's like, oh shit, because the YouTuber that I watch was all like, because they're all fucking stupid. I guess corruption is the thing.
Exactly what I'm
You
saying.
you educating him on facts, and now he has a completely different view of South Africa. And he said it himself, he's all like, yeah, my views on South Africa were probably just like inconsistent and dumb and stupid. Like I had to have looked into it. So again, and I told him, I was like, you got to be careful,
But he's
because
not dumb
if-
as a person.
Yeah,
He's just for that specific topic.
exactly,
He's dumb.
he was ignorant, and his point was like, and I told him, and his point was that like, if I make a claim about a group of people, about somebody, I probably should have some level of evidence before I make that kind of accusation. And I was like, yeah, you should.
No, absolutely.
So
and that's what I'm
So
saying
if
here.
you're saying, Usher, so if you're saying Jeff Keighley is corrupt, that's fine.
No,
to
I've
say
never
that.
said that.
Well,
I just said-
if you're implying he's corrupt, my question, I'm not even attacking you. My question is just like, okay, well, tell me how. Then you say, well, Sony has won like 3 out of 15 Game Awards. I'm like, that's it. What
Yes,
else?
And they've won 21 awards, which is more than anyone else overall for the Game Awards.
How many
and I'm
has
saying-
Nintendo won? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I'll search. I can look for it, but like I just know that Sony has the most, which is why everybody has this opinion, and it's not like my opinion only. This is an opinion that's shared in the community. So the only thing I was pushing up against is that this attitude of saying that people that are either unqualified or that are not industry experts are idiots for having opinions. Because again, if you go to the Lena Khan example, you are saying that she was uninformed about something that is part of her job, which is her trial. She was the one that was prosecuting. She was the one that was saying, no, we don't want this to happen. So she knew exactly. She did her research.
She was
Not-
ignorant. No. Lena Khan was clearly ignorant about the gaming.
No, but it's
the
her job.
video
Like, I mean, like
game.
this is the thing, Ty.
No. Her job is not monitoring
honestly, she's ignorant
video
if
games
it's her job.
market. Her job, no. Her job is not so. Dude, the last time Lena Khan probably held a controller, she was probably
No, but she doesn't need to hold a controller to understand the gaming business. I don't even think like
Clearly-
the guy
clearly-
of what is it, of Take Two. He's probably Strauss Zelnick has probably never held a controller or cares about holding it.
Yeah, but he works. No. But he
Game
works
business.
in the game industry. No, dude. Someone that works in the game industry doesn't play video games, has way more knowledge about the scale and the competitors within the gaming industry than someone that does not work in the gaming industry and has not played video games or followed video games for more than 20 years.
So okay,
Those
so
two
you're a
people
professional.
are very different.
So this is my point. You're a professional. You are representing the United States government. You're telling me you're not going to go into you're going against Microsoft, the second biggest company in the world. You're telling me you're going to go into a court case as the head of that department without bringing the relevant professionals to come and do the research.
I'm not. She did.
But like, I mean, again, like, can you prove that she didn't bring industry? I'm like, why wouldn't she? That
Because
makes no
you
sense.
just look at if you look at the arguments, like Ty was saying, you look at the arguments that were made by her and her team. Only ignorance can be used because we don't want to insult people. Because if ignorance is not the reason, then stupidity, literal stupidity,
I
is the
disagree.
only other option. And I think that's unfair.
Like, I think that's a very flawed argument. It's the same argument that like Ty is saying. That, well, so if you look at like, did you look at the detail to see how she built her argument for you to say that?
Wait, I don't know if you maybe we guys weren't talking back then.
I know I did because
I don't know if you guys were talking back then.
We followed
literally,
the case.
I followed everything as well. Yeah. There's recordings of the case. There's notes on the case. Like, I don't know if you guys even know about the star witness situation, where they brought this star witness. This was their analyst. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm trying to remember, but like, this is more or less what happened. This person, they were supposed to argue that if Microsoft bought ABK, they would force Sony into foreclosure, right? And then they were going back and forth, and the point here was that like they said Microsoft would need to own 24% to gain a 24% of the market, which would then force Sony into foreclosure, right? That's Lena Khan's start winners statement. They're going back and forth, and the judge is like, wait, so you're saying if Call of Duty becomes exclusive, everyone who plays Call of Duty on PlayStation is just going to jump onto Xbox? And the judge was like, okay, prove it. And Microsoft was able to show that people buy Call of Duty and play it for like 2 hours, and they never play it again. They were able to show that the people who had Call of Duty, but had extensive PlayStation libraries like God of War, Last of Us, and judges kind of like, wait, so this people just gonna like leave? Wait, let me finish. People just gonna leave, and then there was so much back and forth, and the judge finally said this.
But I just want to understand your point about the star witness first. What did they get wrong? Like, so what did
I'll get to it. They made a claim that like 24%, Microsoft would have to gain 24% market share, additional 24% market share, for them to force Sony into a foreclosure, like Sony to go out of business or partial foreclosure. You understand?
I don't know. I fully understand what that means.
So they're going back and forth with Call of Duty, and just isn't convinced that like, wait, if they make Call of Duty exclusive, everyone's just gonna leave PlayStation and just join Xbox. That's a bit weird. But then and then the judge said something that was interesting here. Then she just said, you know what? Okay, let's all drop this. Hypothetically, or whatever it is, if every ABK game was an Xbox exclusive, and for some reason every single body left PlayStation, Nintendo, and just bought an Xbox because ABK games are exclusive, what percentage of the industry would that be? And it was like something like 12%.
Yeah.
So you start when it said it's 24%. And now it's like, wait, but ABK only owns 12% of the industry. Mm-hmm. Where's the other 12%? So they're just like, okay, bye, done. This doesn't make sense.
Okay.
When you're, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but there was so many mistakes like that, it just didn't make sense. The judge is like, I don't understand. The judge is like, I'm not convinced that somebody who has a PlayStation, who has God of War, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, likes all these games, just because Call of Duty is gone, is going to drop their PS5 and go buy an Xbox Series X. They're just like, yeah, no, like, show me evidence of that. I couldn't find any evidence. This is why they lost. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing these statements, and I'm like, yeah, she's completely.
Well, this is one of the reasons they lost. Don't say this is why they lost. This is one of the reasons.
Yeah, they lost for multiple reasons. Yes. So what's the argument? Yeah, multiple reasons.
I'm not disputing that. My whole point of bringing this in is that your whole thing of dismissing people by the fact that they're saying that, listen, We feel that there's something odd here about the fact that like how much Sony has won this thing consistently. So you not giving those people the same sort of break to say, okay, cool, okay, let's look at their credentials and let's look at like who's saying what. You just saying, you know what, everyone, I'm not convinced. I'm like, okay, cool, you're not convinced, and then you made the statement that like everyone thinks they're an analyst, but they're probably an idiot on their own, whatever. And I'm saying, well, but like if you look at the evidence that they're looking at, the evidence sort of suggests that there's something up here. Like unless you say, okay, cool, let's unpack that evidence and then look at it deeply, then that's a different conversation that we're having.
Yeah, and I'm saying
So
that the problem.
all I'm
problem
saying to
in
you,
society.
the same way that you saying that, okay, cool, even though people can be subject matter experts and then they could still fail to motivate for a case, just because you hold authority doesn't mean that you can effectively argue a case. I'm saying to you, if we had that argument and we had that debate, who knows what people would bring to the table, because the numbers are there. Someone can argue that case. To say, well, okay, cool. So you saying
I completely agree with arguing the case. My only dispute is like when we go back and forth with this case and there's mitigating factors, then you probably should fall back. In the same way how when when Tango got shut down, the first thing everyone said was, oh no, it's because of Game Pass. And I said, oh, okay, really? Let me look into it. Then you find out all these things that Hi-Fi Rush costs a good bit to make.
No, it cost to 20 million to make, which is less than most.
No. Sorry. When the developer comes out and says it wasn't a AA budget or it wasn't indie budget,
but it was 10 to 30 million. Go look that up.
No, because that's based on AI. Like in terms of like we don't actually know how much it costs.
Go look it up. Go find me counter evidence to say that it didn't cost between 10 and 30.
No. When the director of the game says the game was actually expensive, and your rebuttal is, well, AI told me it was 20 million. You are the one incorrect. You are the one that needs to find better evidence.
Okay, so did you specify an amount as to what expensive is? And can you now compare that what's expensive to Microsoft, who spent 500 million on Halo Infinite?
Okay, so now we're reaching, fellas, because none of us was in these boardroom meetings. So even if we find out that it was 10 million, we don't know how much Microsoft expected to receive from spending 10 million. So I think we're getting lost in the woods right now. In the weeds, sorry, excuse me. I think we're getting lost in the weeds right now.
And I think you're absolutely right. And
just an opinion.
To bring it back to the main topic about the Game of the Year award.
Sorry, wait. Yeah, I just want to say this real quick. Yeah.
Ty likes the weeds.
Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
That's what he said. Yeah. So remember, this is the creative director of Hi-Fi Rush.
Who's this?
His name is Jonas. He said, Hi-Fi Rush was supposed to be a small project from Tango. People probably see it as a weird sort of AA title, or people are like, oh, they made a nice indie game. This ain't no indie game. Obviously, I can't say how much it costs, but it wasn't a cheap game to make.
So what's cheap to you?
No. Where's the point here? He said from that.
No, I heard what he said. You explained what he said several times in different ways, but like, what is that amount to justify shutting down a studio?
My amount is my actually overall point here is that like he's saying this wasn't a cheap game to make. Therefore, when the game did its Game Pass numbers or sales or whatever it is included, it probably didn't reach the milestones that it was really supposed to.
So do we know what it was expected to reach?
We don't know, but we know the studio. We know Tango itself. We know Tango itself, even within 2 and 1 and Ghostwire Tokyo did not do anything crazy numbers wise.
Yes. So do we know how much? I can tell you because I looked it up. I can tell you how much the average Tango game costs, and that's between 20 and 30 million.
Source?
I looked it up.
So is it Source AI?
Yes.
Absolutely. No, I need a better source than that.
Oh, so going forward, we need better sources than AI. So okay, so what source do you have that they did more?
What
Sorry.
I can say I don't know how much. I'm not making a claim on how much these games cost to make. Yeah, like
So
I'm
what
not
is
making
your
that claim.
source? I just want to
What
understand.
I'm
Like,
saying is that
not
the creative director said it wasn't a cheap game
give
to
you a
make.
number.
Sorry,
Did he give you a number? What that is?
he didn't give a number.
So did he give you perspective as to say compared to every other Microsoft game?
No, he didn't.
So how do you know that that was the best decision for them to shut that down? Because your whole argument when it comes to that is that that studio was not making money and hence they had to be shut down. But if you look at all the other studios that were bleeding money at Microsoft that were shut down years later, including this year,
Again,
was it
what are
justified?
the mitigating factors?
That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I could tell you the mitigating factors why Tango probably got shut down and why it wasn't Game Pass.
Well, I mean, okay, cool. Like, I can tell you why.
Well, I mean, I can give you more quotes. Okay, from another interview, he was interviewed by Inverse. He said, people assume it was made by 10 people and cost pennies to make. So he's probably saying, like, based on what you're seeing from the game, you probably think it cost pennies to make. And he said, no, it's not. It's very difficult to pull off. So, and then he said, so while they didn't give numbers, the message is that although it may look smaller indie-ish, it was much bigger. So he's saying that whatever view you have of that game.
Yeah, but like, no, I'm not disputing that. But like, I'm saying,
but my point is, but he's saying whatever view you have of the game, it costs more to make than that view.
No, and I don't dispute that. But I'm saying, like, so how can you justify that more? Because you don't know why Microsoft shut that studio down. You're just assuming because
no, because but like I can look at the surrounding evidence. Number one,
no, but like, so what is the surrounding evidence that you have versus?
Whereas I'm saying, I can say that I did this, I looked into this, and the fact that Hi-Fi Rush did like 3 million in X amount of time, I can't remember how much the time span was. I was like, that's actually not that good. Number one, and I was like, wait a second, didn't High on Life come out? That Xbox isn't paying them for, like, he's not paying their wages. They just spent to develop the game. And High on Life had 7 million. It had double Hi-Fi Rush's number, and High on Life probably cost less to make as well. Tricky. And then you heard my buddy literally say himself that, like, yo, listen, there was some things that happened that didn't allow the team to do what they were doing before. And then you remember, oh, wait a second, didn't Mikami leave with like 7 other people who are like valuable to the studio? So now the studio is weaker than before. Like, there's all these mitigating factors that you can say, okay, well, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Interesting mitigating factors. But like, wasn't Xbox telling us up until that point that the game was successful? They were happy with the numbers. Several Xbox executives on record, including Sarah Bond, including Phil Spencer himself, including all of them, went on record to say, well, this is the game is successful. It's doing well. We're happy with the game and how it's performed. Did they not say this?
Yeah.
So those are the head of the studio. So how does these people that you're mentioning mitigate or counter what the executive, the head of the studio were telling?
Because just because you're happy with a product or you're okay with a product doesn't mean that when somebody comes along and says we need resources for Fallout instead, and then you have to go find those resources, you're gonna make cuts. This is not about being profitable by 5 or 10%. This is about, like, no, we need to get to 30% profitability. So someone has to go. Who's the one who's making the least profit sense for us? Yes, this is business.
Okay, fine, fair enough. That's business. But do you know that for a fact that they were making that amount?
I looked at my booty literally said
all the other games that were in development and bleeding money from.
Like, I mean, like people are literally going after Xbox these days now because they're saying, like, hey,
no, I'm asking you to answer me a direct question based because you bring up specific things. You're saying this person said this, and he's the guy that developed.
I'm saying that Microsoft has been talking for the last couple of years now about focusing on titles that is going to bring them more value.
No, but that's not what we're disputing here or discussing. I'm saying to you, if you look at the time and when that studio was shut down, and you're quoting one guy that said that the game was expensive to make, and I'm saying relative to every other game that Microsoft was making, and that those games were bleeding money. And Microsoft was telling you that the game was a success and it was winning awards all across the industry. How is that a justification of shutting down that studio versus all the other things that Microsoft had going on at the time.
One of the other points that was mentioned as per Jez Corden and the other Xbox insiders was that when you look at a game like a new game from Xbox, like it could be Avowed or it could be Outer Worlds 2, you're going to see credits from the other developers who are helping out. Tango was a bit isolated, so they couldn't provide additional services to the other developers. I don't know what that necessarily means. Maybe it was a time difference, maybe it was an engine thing, whatever it is, but they couldn't really provide that kind of support. The reason why I think Hellblade 2 or Ninja Theory is around primarily is because they provide services and they're really good with Unreal Engine, and they also allow their other developers to use their motion capture. So I wouldn't be surprised if the coalition is literally using their motion capture in for the next Gears game. However, Tango didn't have these resources, so it just so Tango doesn't have a track record of making great selling games that bring in that much revenue. They don't have a track. They've just lost a lot of their leaders now. So there you go. There's no problem there. And your game, Hi-Fi Rush, they released on the PlayStation, and it bombed.
So my point is this: very simple. So Ty, where does Xbox struggle the most in the world?
Great quality games, probably.
No, like I mean, like in terms of regionally.
In terms of region, Japan.
Exactly. So where's Tenno Game Works from? Because this was my understanding of them, Japan. So and who the one of the guys that made Final Fantasy? Was it Resident Evil, Mikami, and whatever was the guy that was the key guy there. I'm not sure which one of the guys because there's a couple of guys. So my whole point is this: is that so it's another strategic region where they're investing significant money anyways into more than they'll ever invest into Tenno Gameworks, and they decide to disinvest in the studio. And again, another thing that we've spoken about a lot of the times that, well, you've always said that they can't make good games. They can't make games at the same quality level as PlayStation. For the first time, they make a game that gets the same accolades that PlayStation games get. And they shut that studio down. These are the guys that struggle to release games that are polished and that looked that good and they get that sort of reception industry-wise. So you shut the studio down.
True, but why did they shut them down?
Let me finish. So you shut that studio down, and you have all these other studios that bleed way more money than any of. And again, like the one thing about Japanese studios that everybody can attest to is that they run far cheaper than Western studios. Generally, they cost way less because Japanese developers don't demand as many. Like the sort of like their income is not as high as like what people expect to be paid in the United States. So you look at all the other studios that Xbox had that were bleeding money, including Ray, where project and the initiative, which they kept open, mind you, at that time, for a game that they would cancel a year later. So these guys shipped a game. You were not happy with the scores and how that game did. Yet, at least they made you some money and they have the expertise to deliver AAA games for you. And that's a justified business decision for you to close them down and close all the other guys that are losing you money, bleeding you money a good year later. Hundreds of millions versus maybe a couple of tens of millions from a studio that actually is profitable. Or that can actually make games and ship them. And if you market them correctly, they will probably be profitable.
Yeah, but I think you're missing. Like, okay, well, why do you think they shut them down?
I don't know. Like, I don't understand why Microsoft shut them down. It's still a mystery to me today, because it can't be. Because Microsoft is a $1 trillion company. Tenno Gameworks, who makes games that cost $20 to $30 million, is not a significant loss for them. Especially,
they asked my buddy about it.
They can actually ship product.
Well, they asked my buddy. They asked my buddy about it, and one of the quotes he said was, the teams are set up for success in the future, not just if they were successful in the past. So we already know for a fact before my buddy said anything that Mikami has gone along with some like other people who are important, and you're the same person who knows that if you're in BioWare and Casey Hudson and Drew leaves, and all the head leaves, you end up making a shit product. So now they're looking at Tango saying, well, the guy who this studio was literally created for has left. Not only has he left, but he's taking like the other leaders with him. So we know this, and then when Mabudi says, "Hey, it's not about your success in the past; it's about can you be successful in the future." What do you think that means?
So like I don't want to quote Matt Booty or any of like the stuff because they say a lot of shit and then they either change their minds or they outright lie about the shit that they say. So going back to what Matt Booty is saying, like
Someone has trauma.
no, but it's going back to what Matt Booty said about that specific statement about the fact that like we're looking for success in the future. So okay, so was Matt Booty so what was he expecting? Like so was Matt Booty under the impression that all the other projects that they've promised since 2017 that no one like they've got all these studios that Matt Booty signed off on that have not shipped a single product, not delivered anything. These guys have delivered 3 games in 3 years. None of the studios that your boy signed on that cost tens to hundreds of millions have shipped a single game.
Well, I
They were
think
not
that,
close.
well, hold on. I think there's a few parts here that is interesting, and I think you could even make I think I've made it before that like you could say there's a bias here for sure. The studios you're referencing, Matt Booty works exactly with them. And works like on like they work on they report to Matt Booty. When Bethesda was purchased, they never wanted Tango. That's number one. And number two, Matt Booty probably had limited time with Tango. Like I mean, he probably didn't really talk to me, Camry that much. As far as Matt Booty's concerned, I didn't greenlight any of these games. These are not my games. This is somebody else's games. This is Bethesda's games. I don't give a fuck about, right? So there might be some bias that they're like, of course he wants Team Schaefer and the guys at Obsidian to win. Yeah, I'm even saying that like the perceived bias that could make sense because remember, Matt Booty did not greenlight any of Bethesda games. They're already in motion at that time, and the clearly doesn't really talk to them. I mean, does Matt Booty fly over to Japan to hang out with them as much? No, he doesn't. But he probably does the rounds in the UK and Europe and the United States a lot more. So you could say there was bias there. Like, yeah, that's fine. And number two, Matt Booty is more likely to probably cancel a game that he didn't greenlight than a game that he greenlit, for sure. I'm not
I
disputing
agree
that.
with you that it was a self-interested move from Microsoft executives. It had
No,
nothing to do
I can say self-interested, but I can
quality.
also say that he probably has some level of data to show that like we probably shouldn't do this. And I think something that's really important that is what Jez said, which was that he heard that what's happening here is that like some of those resources were going into the other games, and apparently some of them went into Blackbird, which eventually got cancelled. So again, you can attack them for mismanagement, but the resources went to other places.
No, I agree with you. I'm not in a disagreement. And again, like, sorry, we've monopolized the airways. Loke, I want to send this to you. Do you have any opinion on this, or do you want us to move on? Because, yeah, we need to shut this shit down now. We're going for 3 hours. It was supposed to be an hour and a half.
Again? What's the topic again?
No, we were busy going back and forth about the closing of Tango GameWorks. And this is, of course, based on another. Then Ty and me, and like we do this all the time. So this is based on like this whole thing because what was the initial debate? Ty? Was it the Game Awards and Kelly being unobjective?
Yeah, I'm saying that people they have ideas, surface level takes, and then they think those surface level takes justified. Like, oh, yeah, I'm 100% right. Like, no, you need to go dig in.
I agree. So that's where it came from. Do you want to close this off for us?
Yeah, essentially. Next time you want to shit on me, bro, just say it to my face. Don't be dancing around it. Talking about when people think things, they say things, and they think they're industry analysts. Just say it to my face, brother. It's not a problem.
And that's the thing with Ty. He like always makes these statements, and then like he always directly points them at gamers. He always makes it a point to say gamers. Always say this or fans, and that's who we are.
Hey, my guy, just say it to my face, man.
He always says gamers. Like I'm like, bro, like, and I always try and avoid it. Like, okay, let me like see this one pass. And I have I have to breathe and like. He's not taking
Other,
games.
other than
Oh my,
that,
yeah.
I agree with what he said. And if it says Xbox on the box, it's a fucking Xbox.
Okay, like I disagree. Like he disagrees with you. That's not what he. It's a PC. It's a whatchamacallit. It's a what do you call it? Ty? It's a
It's a Windows PC. I think.
Well, unless you want to turn this into a 4-hour podcast, I guess we're going to leave it there.
Hello.
Ty,
Yeah, I'm here.
something's wrong with Osh's. Oh my goodness. The stream
Can you
went
see me?
wild for a minute. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, my bad. So I know. I think let's end it off there, gents. So like to just conclude, I don't disagree with you on any fundamental points. I think the one thing I disagree with you on is anything to do with anti. The moment the conversation sounds very anti-gamer, I will always fight you on that, and I will always battle you on that. Like the moment it sounds like the conversation is skewing to an angle where it's like, yeah, well, fuck gamers, like they're a bunch of entitled cunts. Like I will never accept that because
Yeah, but that's because you're sensitive, though. Because none of this is I'm saying are even gamer related. I'm saying facts. My facts are literally people take takes and then they think that those takes means that they don't have to delve deeper into making accusations, and then they take those takes and they think like, yeah, these are facts, and I'm going to argue these are facts. I'm saying no, you don't. This is not a gamer thing. This could be entertainers. This could be gamers. This could be people who read books. You just can't make a claim. And when I say, well, where's the evidence? You fall apart.
So my point is like, Ty, so do you have 6-hour arguments with someone because of the fact that their argument was weak on a gamer or a pro gamer point? That would be very easy to disprove and just be like, okay, no, like this is what it says and that's done. So it tells you that
a pro gamer point.
Huh?
What do you mean a pro gamer point? Like
no, I'm saying like most of the times like we've gone like 3 hours, we've even gone like 4, I think 5 hours, argue points that you've like initially when you introduce the point, it's very simplistic of like, I don't know, you guys are just being trolls.
No, I mean, okay, I'll give you my pro gamer point. There are people who've said Xbox should get out the console and not make any more consoles, whatever it is. And my argument was that like, yeah, they don't have exclusive games, but what about those Xbox gamers, no matter how small it is, 5 or 10 million, who actually likes the ecosystem and wants to make a different device? That is pro gamer. What about those people out there who want access to their back catalog with also a next gen device? That's pro gamer. What about those gamers out there who still like Game Pass, wants Game Pass, and when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and it's probably next gen, they want to be able to play via Game Pass? Like that's pro game. These are all pro gamer points. But because it's framed as pro gamer points with Xbox, it's seen as negative. So they say no, fuck it. Like, no, like I tell people every time, like same thing. I'm pro Genshin Impact because I think I want gamers to have access to free live service games that can go toe to toe with like a Zelda game or whatever it is. I want gamers to have access to subscription service games because I think they can save a lot of money. And and like I tell people, somebody called me a Game Pass shill once, right? Sorry, an Xbox shill once because I was talking about Game Pass, and I told the guys like I literally tell every single buddy, do not pay monthly, unsubscribe, and go to CD keys. And here's a transition thing and get it for cheap. I told the guys like, how am I a Microsoft shill when I'm literally trying to give consumers a cheaper way to play the subscription service? I'm very pro gamer. It's just when I say things that people don't like about Xbox or I call gamers moan bags, which is true. It's true. I'm very factual focused.
No,
I know
like
for someone who's as emotional as you, I know it hurts. You can't really
gosh,
take it.
oh
So I
my
get it.
gosh. So I'm not gonna engage in that argument.
You can't engage in facts.
I'm
It
not gonna.
sounds like it.
I don't want to get into that because I'm gonna tell you that your facts are BS. But anyways, I'm going to Luke. Luke, what do you want to add? Sorry, man. Like, my apologies for because me and Tay went on for like a very long time. Like, what do you want to add to this conversation before we?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, cool. Do you have any feelings either way?
About gamers being entitled or what?
Yeah, like I mean, there's that sense. Like, I think in closing, like I just want to understand: do you think that gamers are entitled, and do you think it's fair for
No,
gamers?
no, I don't think gamers are entitled. We pay our hard-earned money
Yeah.
to buy these products. To say that we should not expect anything, because that's what the definition of entitlement is. To
Mhm.
say that we should not expect anything, I think is just wrong. And I don't want to live in this world where you can pay for something and then people are calling you all types of names for expecting anything from the thing that you paid for.
I agree. I feel you. So, gents, thank you again for joining me this week. This was an awesome episode. I really enjoyed it. This is probably the shortest back and forth Ty and I have had. We're gonna end it at like 3 hours. We've gone for almost 5 hours. I think last week we went for like almost 5 hours. And it always starts with a random tangent. But anyways, like I know I really appreciate doing this with you, gents. So I'm gonna ask you guys to plug your channels and whatever you guys are up to and whatever you want to share. And then yeah, we'll call it a day. Luke, go ahead.
You can find me on TSWS Gaming. I've been away for about 2 weeks, but tomorrow it's back to regular scheduled viewing on Bull Sitting with me and the crew.
Ty.
Sorry, nowhere really. Yeah, I'm not playing anything at the moment. Actually quite busy doing some other things, so no games for me for a while. But you find me on Luke's show next week if it's on, and then you find me probably on Usher's show next week if it's on. I think I might be traveling next week though, because I'm being pushed to take all my holidays in work, so I might not be on next week. But if I am,
World problems. First world
yeah,
problem.
I know. Yeah, they're like you have too many
What
holidays. You have to.
you take time off in Africa? Jesus.
Yeah, life is listen, first world problems, stressful, but I have to say it's good. It's good.
Have you been to the continent outside your home country?
Europe or Africa, which one? I've been to
No,
I mean, I was born in Africa. I've
no, you
been
were
back.
outside Nigeria. Have you been to any other African country?
No, I mean if you mean sub-Sahara, no. But if you mean Africa, I've been to Morocco.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. You need to come visit some black countries.
So you didn't go
Yeah,
and see other Africans. You didn't go and see other Africans. That's
didn't.
unfortunate.
He went
I mean
to all
at some point I'll go to South Africa again. I mean I'll go to South Africa to visit. I've heard good things.
Anytime you want to come to South Africa, give me a shout. I said the same thing to Luke that whenever he wants to come to South Africa, he needs to give me a shout. And yeah, we'll have a
Ty's
good
got a
one.
stripper pole. He's
Show
got
you
a stripper
around.
pole in his living room. Ty has a stripper pole in it. Oshus has a stripper pole in his living room. Sorry,
I have no idea what you're talking about. I deny.
I'm
all
exposing you right here in front of everyone. Freak. You're a fucking freak.
Rich, yeah, I agree with you when you said that Tango was attack on studio.
Okay, cool. I know. Thanks, Ty, for that. And Ty, like, I think we need to do some combine. Like, first of all, I need you to go whenever you decide to go back to gaming. Go play Mass Effect 1, bro. Become an honest man. And go play Mass Effect 1 and stop being the fraud that you are, pretending to be a Mass Effect major fan I can't believe I even had conversations about you about like the endings, about which ending was the right one, and you haven't even played
Yeah,
Mass Effect 1.
this guy
I
didn't
actually
even play the
shame
MS1. Yeah.
myself for having that conversation with you. I'm like, this guy he's a noob. He's never played the de facto Mass Effect, bro. And every time I see you, I'm going to bring this up. Go play Mass Effect 1.
No, I will.
He's
I think at
he's
some point.
unwashed swine. That's what he is. Oshus. Unwashed swine.
Oh, this is true.
Can you imagine? That is the
Troglodyte.
that is to me. It's like if and again, like Taya, just for your own experience, as I said to you in the beginning of this podcast, that I would love to go back. Out of every game I've ever played, I would love to go back and play. If you ask me which game would I want to forget completely and go play again, it's Mass Effect 1.
Mhm. For me, it'll be Mass Effect 2. No, Mass Effect 3.
3!
3.
3!
Yeah, Mass Effect 3.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Two is the Empire Strikes Back of cyber games. 3 is the Return of the Jedi.
But you see,
But-
3 has all the it has the questions that like the genophage, does this unit have a soul with the Quarians? And I think because for me, like whenever I think about Mass Effect, I think when people talk about like they want to debate Mass Effect, those questions always pop into mind. So even though Mass Effect 2 could be overall a better game, I think that those questions pop into mind for 3, and also Red, Blue, Green. As much as people might hate the idea of like, well, it didn't give me enough options, the idea to destroy, to control, or to synthesize or merge, I think those questions stays with people forever. I can't really think of Mass Effect 2 questions that had me like, oh wow, this is a really tough one. Like, what do I pick? I don't know if Mass Effect 1 even has those kind of questions as well. So 3 will
like-
always be memorable just because of that.
No, like the thing is with Mass Effect 2 is the fact that like which squad mate would you choose? Mass Effect 1 introduces you, and look, sort of like put it the best way I could. Look, what did you say? You said something about the universe and the fact that like, please just phrase that the way that you phrased it in the beginning of the show.
I essentially, without Shepard, even without Shepard, the Mass Effect universe is deep, engaging, and very, very like intriguing and well set up, and yeah, just deep, man. It's fucking awesome. It's an awesome universe.
One last thing. Am I the only one that if you asked me to choose any sci-fi universe, I would choose Mass Effect universe to live in?
To live in.
Sci-fi universe
I
to
asked
live
you
in.
which universe you wanted to be part of in any
Sci-fi.
gaming franchise.
This is
Gaming
going
wise,
to sound
yeah.
crazy. This is going to sound crazy when I say it. Fuck it. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. I'll say it. There's just something so exciting and liberating it as well. The Warhammer universe.
You are insane. The worst part of it is hell every day.
Yeah, but there's something. Come on, Ty, please back me up. There's something
Don't
alluring.
people die
There's
in that
something.
game?
Sorry,
Don't people die in Warhammer universe? Like,
all
It's
the time. It is the only thing that is certain. But I don't know. For me, there's something so attractive about the inevitability of defeat. Even I don't know, man. For me, yeah.
That's very nuanced of you. Very, I don't know, like, because a lot of people love that universe, but I just don't think it's a universe I would want to be part of. I thought you would say something like, I would want to be part of Snake's universe.
But that's not fantasy.
No, but like it's an alternative universe. It's not the same as ours.
Yeah, but you said sci-fi. You said sci-fi, and
Okay.
Snake.
Okay.
Metal Gear is not sci-fi.
No, not just sci-fi gaming. Any gaming universe you could be part of.
Oh, okay. So now we're not just talking about sci-fi.
No. Any gaming universe you would want to be part of.
Any gaming universe. Fudge. I've never thought
Okay,
about
while you
this.
think about it, Ty, do you have something in your mind?
Any gaming universe I'd want to be a part of. Wow, that's a really good question. I think Mass Effect comes to mind because it's one of my favorite universes. However, I'm someone who's like I need to think like, yo, like, is my life in Mass Effect going to be good in the first place? Like, are we living a good
Well,
life? Or are we
so let's put it
struggling?
like this. Let's
Like,
put it like this.
is my job the same as what it is now? The only difference is like I'm hooking up with an Asari. Like, that's what comes to my mind.
Well, even if you're a bartender, you would still be able to hook up with an Asari because they're just normal people.
Yeah, but
So,
ain't the Reapers coming? Ain't there a war coming?
so okay.
Yeah.
So let me put it like this. So any universe, and you're going to be a character that can influence things. Does that make it better?
Warhammer, let's fucking go. Because the most terrifying thing about being in the Warhammer universe is not just being there; it's being there and not being like a space marine or any one of the other like factions. It's just being like a civilian in the Warhammer universe. Jesus Christ, no one deserves that, man.
So what
No
would you
one
want to be in the Warhammer universe? You want to be a space marine? There's
Yeah,
so many.
a space marine. That's what I would want to be. Yeah.
You do know that that's the worst faction according to fans. That's the faction that everyone hates.
I don't care. From the 5 books I've read, and obviously there's like hundreds of those books,
Yes,
right?
of course, yeah. It's a very
From the
deep lore.
five I've read so far, digital only because I live in Mozambique. We don't have physical over here. From the 5 books I've read, yeah, give me a start.
Please tell us in the chat as well what you guys want to be. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to be a space marine. Let death come, because that is even in death I shall serve the undying emperor.
Chisa, yeah. Somebody knows the quotes.
That is the universe. That is the universe. If I could pick one, that's where I'm going. Like no hesitation, no nothing. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Okay. Tai, final answer?
For universe, I actually don't got one.
Any gaming universe, right?
This was sound boring, but what's coming to my mind is like, I'm a protagonist. Then probably Mass Effect.
You are no. You're not the protagonist. Let's say you are part of like the circle of influence to the protagonist. So your story is important and it will influence the story of the protagonist. So you're not Shepard. You're not Shepard in this story.
So you might not be Shepard, but you'll be a Sentinel, for example.
Yes, you'll be either Ashley, Caden. You could be Garrus. You could be any of the surrounding characters, meaning that you have a significant role, one of the most significant roles. And in your case, you could be any of the surrounding space marines that are around. What's his name? Is it Titus?
Titus.
In that case, then yeah, okay.
Titus. Yeah, you're right, Titus. Yeah.
Is it Titus?
Yeah, it's Titus.
Yeah, so you could be any of those other space marines because you said you wanted to be a space marine, but you're not him.
Yeah.
But you're one of his dudes. You're one of his guys. He knows you on a first name basis.
Dude, I don't even need to be one of those guys. I could be just another space marine that was sent to like a rogue planet, and I'm stranded. It's just me. Like, death is inevitable at this point. It's just like he'll be dead in about 12 hours. But bro, I'm going to take down like 12,000 aliens with me. They're gonna feel every inch as they get closer to killing me. and it's going to be like a song that will be sung to the ends of the universe. But I will die. No
I would have,
happy ending over here.
if I was you, look, as a Kojima fan, I would have just wanted to be in like, I would have wanted to be like a rider in MGS. Like,
Bruh,
really?
did you see how Raiden suffers in MGS?
Yeah, but
I
still,
don't
he
think
got out.
I don't think you guys understand. The people around Snake do not have a good time, bro.
But they still having a better time than Space Marines. I can tell you. Like
That is
Space,
true.
that's a horrible existence. Like it's based purely on suffering for the Emperor.
Yes, the whole thing, bro. It's just death and grime and just the inevitable defeat, even. Like, dude, the Warhammer universe is goated. It's fucking awesome.
Absolutely.
It gets the testosterone pumping. I'm just saying.
Okay. Now there's valid points that you made there. So Tai, what's your final say?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Same.
Yeah, for sure.
Which would you choose a specific race? That's
Human.
another
Always human. Always human.
human.
Oh, of course.
Jeez.
Why would anyone choose anything else?
I would
He's a space racist.
I would actually not choose to be human if I could be in the Mass Effect universe. I would either want to be a Krogan or an Asari, a space lesbian. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but like, why?
Because I like chicks.
Yeah, but like, I like chicks too, but I don't want to be a chick.
Well, with bionic powers, bro, and you're blue and you're hot. How is that?
I'm with Ty.
Dude, like I would choose that any day. The only reason I would choose to be a Krogan is because being a Krogan in the Mass Effect universe is just like being black. The same sort of, it's the same solution that we're dealing with in real life. Everything is sort of fucked where we come from. Like Krogans to me, like whenever I look at Krogans, they're the black people of the Mass Effect universe.
Do you think they would okay the genophage?
I mean, my man, like how many times have we been genophages in this universe?
Ushers, you are terrible. You are terrible.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I would. Those are the two. But like I would love to be an Asari. Like I've always wanted to be a super powerful.
You always wanted to be a woman. It's fine. We'll get you your dress, bro. Not a problem.
So Fuzzy says, I'll take the Mario universe. I'm Italian and I have some plumbing experience. You'll be assured.
I love it. I love it.
And then he also mentions the fact that there's trillions of lives in danger in the Mass Effect universe. But we'll stop it. Like, I mean, we're Shepard's friends. We'll have to stop it. Yeah, but guys, thank you for joining me. I think, yeah, we've gone for 3 hours, 16 minutes. More than I could have ever wished for. Always love conversations with you. Tai, our back and forths, I think at this point are going to be legendary in terms of like how much we've extended these conversations. Loke, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
I fell asleep with this latest one, but okay.
And it's always a pleasure to be on your show as well. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday, brother. Guys, thank you for joining us. Fuzzy Tomato, Raichi, and I think I'm pretty sure I saw thingy here earlier, Vincent earlier. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And yeah, Godspeed and enjoy the gaming weekend.
Which god?
Zeus.